and I put on the top of my bio on TikTok that my lives are 1 to 3 Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays now. So I have that there. Wisdom, have you disproved the system of human design yet? Or have you felt like it's actually helped you instead of hurt you? I always say our teachers are important, so don't let bad teachers ruin good things for you. So for all of us that have been, okay, I'm glad. We've had I think any of us that are in the spiritual space have all had a shitty reading from somebody, and that's what's made us be the type of readers that we are now. So we're like, okay, if we can't join them, beat them. And I think a lot of what us millennials, Pluto and Aquarius generation knows is that we're here to question people that are a little bit older than us, and the people that are in the boomer Gen X is the older one. I always forget. Because Gen Z's the younger one. They don't like when we poke holes in their questions, you know what I mean? Or poke holes in why they do things. So, a little word to the wise about knowing who your teachers are. But I was saying, if you're really good, hi Swas, how are you? If you're really good at what you do, like, the power is in your confidence and knowing how to share the information and the wisdom that you know. Hi Faisal, hi Guru, how are you? And so, leading by example, I always say I can count on one hand missing, 2 or 3 fingers, like how many times somebody has actually asked me if I was certified in human design, because it's evident that I know what I'm talking about. And I don't say that to toot my own horn, but to say, like, it's for you guys that are also in this space, you can be like that too. You know what I mean? Like, just stepping into your power in that way. Yeah, around our birthdays. Yeah. Oh my God. Privately. Okay. Yes. I'll look for the private update, Dwadaki. I'm excited to hear it. Let me tell you the Saturn return. Yeah. Oh, so you're in your Saturn return now. Yes. An elite projector. That is true. I don't think any projector that connects with me is not that way. So I will say that. Hi, Melly. How are you? Yeah, there's so much I could say about that. But a lot of projectors release. Hi, beautiful Deanna. How are you? It's good to see you too. Happy Saturday. I'm wearing red, which I usually reserve for Venus days, Fridays, but it felt very apropos of all the Aries that has been transiting my Black Moon Lilith in Aries for me. So I'm playing with that energy very much so. Let me just double check a couple links here. Again, if you guys have any questions about human design, astrology, in between readings, I do have my booking links open. I'm just confirming that right now for my Patreon people first, so you guys can book your monthly freebie for those of you that applies. But in between readings, as we're here, ask me any questions that you have, anything that you want to know about human design or astrology. I'm happy to help. I kind of see myself as a professor that's teaching you, what I can to pass the baton where appropriate to help you make more sense of this. Because I always say, like, with this information, it's cool, but I'm always like, why should other people care about it? Because it's not, I don't find it interesting to be lectured at, especially when I was in school. Hi Akbar, how are you? It's good to see you. Okay, all my links are ready to go. Again, 10 minutes, $15, you get a recording. I'm dual streaming to YouTube and TikTok simultaneously, so you guys will see me going and bouncing back and forth on either side. And now I can get into some of the more fun things and talk to you guys. What are the difference between generators, the generators, man-gen, generator, and manifester? So the only 2 that fall in the generator category actually are generators and manifesting generators. So manifestors are not generator energy types. They're also part of what's called the non-sacrals. Reflectors, projectors, and manifestors are all non-sacrals. Hi, Ghost. And so the reason we know that, even just by visuals, and I can show you guys, like the chart in front of me is a manifesting generator because we have a defined throat and a defined sacral, but it's that this center, this red square, the second deep red square up from the bottom is your sacral. That's going to be white in any manifestor, projector, hi Mo, any manifestor, projector, or reflector. Now, generators and manifesting generators are always going to have that defined. They're 70% of the population that makes up our generator archetype. So manifestors, though, because they can be the spiciest with their words, like they know how to stick up for themselves, it's people associate generator and man-gen with authoritative. I also find that people think that if they learn from me because of the intersection of my placements and the way that I teach. So you're not the first, and probably won't be the last, Deanna, to ask that question. But manifestors, like beautiful Megan, hi honey, beautiful Megan, have more power in their words than you would think. And people equate power in their words to power and how much energy they have to get things done. But a good manifestor just wants to be left alone to do their own thing. So with that being said, we're at the 5 minute and 40-second mark for Megan. I'm just writing this down so I could send her recording. And let me look at Megan's question for today. So, my dreams have been dreaming. I was just talking about that with Deanna. Hi, Julia. How are you? How are you? Like, actually, I'm just doing a reading for Megan, but I want to, like, help, you know, cast a phone a friend line because I feel for you right now in the crazy situation that you're going through. I can't believe it's been a week, but my dreams have been dreaming started Wednesday in Pluto retrograde, or gates that I have any insight on how to make the energy work for me. So you're a 13-degree Aqua rising, which we were talking about. So in Placidus, Pluto, because it's the same for me. Yeah, that's crazy. You're like, our brains are tethered together in our brains. We're Psychic Friends Network, I want to say. That was like an old infomercial. But obviously more than that with your husband. I swear, same with my husband and I, who just tapped in for a little bit. I don't know if he's here right now still. But we have that too. We're like, it's like a telekinesis. We don't even have to say things out loud. We don't even have to look at each other. You know, we can feel the energetic side eye back and forth, and that translates to dreams. I also feel, you know, whatever you're going through, a 12th house transit, Megan, it's actually with Aquarius risings too, and this is the tricky part, and I found that not a lot of people know how to verbalize it unless you are another Aquarius rising, which makes sense. Like, there's things that I can explain to a projector, right? But a projector is really going to explain after they've really lived their experiment and embodied the work. They're going to be able to give that vocabulary or specific details that I won't, because I'm a manifesting generator, right? So to digress off of that, while Pluto is still making its way, because now Pluto's retrograde, right, at 5 degrees of Aquarius, which is also a Leo fame degree, which is interesting. 12th house is all about our subconscious, right? So it's about thinking on how, and gate 41, gate of contraction, is the gate that it's in right now. So it's these growing pains and noticing where your subconscious is no longer getting in your current way. And being proud of yourself, Megan, for how far, I just got chills on the left side, how far you've actually come since that you've started this whole process. And like you had said, like it's diabolical, but also like even noticing the things that would have been your triggers. Hi, Gabe. Your triggers at work or your triggers in the past maybe don't trigger you the same way. Like the same experience at work or in your life will present itself, and then you experience the same thing again now during this Pluto retrograde in your 12th, and you're like, actually, this doesn't have the same zing. Exactly. I feel the exact same way. And what's weird, like I find myself, you know, oscillating. I think that's the word. I used to confuse it with undulating, which is it's a different motion, but oscillating between caring a lot still about what I used to care about, and not caring anymore, right? And caring just enough for the right things in the right ways. I have been completely tested. Like one of the things, I don't even know if you guys know this on TikTok yet, but I started volunteering for a wildlife rehabilitation clinic, and essentially it's like an animal ER, right, for wild animals, not like your traditional pet or your traditional, you know, house cat, although I love them too. And you have to, like, it has made me realize, even though very sensitive, right, very intuitive as you are too, Megan, like I don't have the same squishy spots that I used to. Yeah, I listen, it's done wonders for my Virgo Chiron, so there's a lot I could say about that. But you know, I really turned a corner this year in my life and my business, where with Pluto retrograde for us, it's noticing like who are the people that actually want change, who are the people that just need a cheerleader, and how do those people, hi Anna, how do those people get the division of my attention? Because I know that I went into this work really wanting to be like the person that wants to help and change as many people as possible, and then realizing that we also entered into outer planet transits that are really having people worse for wear. Like, we thought we were going to be so far advanced at this point in time, but we're not necessarily getting what we thought we were going to get. And that can be really frustrating for my projectors, for my Cancer rising Sagittarians like Orion, like my people that are truly seers and can see a better, more efficient way to do something. But knowing that there's people who are very burnt out right now and maybe don't have the finances, emotional capacity to deal with that. However, that just means that the pool of applicants to your circle, Megan, are smaller. And it's going to teach you really another deeper level. Like, we used to understand like the peripheral meaning of putting your own oxygen mask on first. But for you, it's like that really understanding what that means, who to give a shit about, and how intensely to give a shit about them. And like knowing that with your placements, it is that like, I don't know if the right word is regalia, but that regal quality where it's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about you, and that's okay. And it's not even, I don't give a fuck, but that is not from a place of hatred, but like, I can't give a fuck, because if I waste my fucks, then the right people, I have to be careful, my white tea on the other side, but if I waste my Fs, you know, I don't have it for the people that actually reciprocate, or the people that actually can help me once you switch where Pluto's going direct and transiting through your first house. Now, because you're a 13 degree Aquarius rising, Pluto's not going to be there for a while, right? Pluto's the farthest planet out in our solar system. And so it's a very slow 20-year orbit. So we're talking like, if I had to guess just quick mental math, at least another, 5, 6, 7 years until that really happens, or you hit an exact minute mark or degree mark to your 13 degree, because I know it's still a few years, like 5 years for me. And I keep confusing myself if I'm an 11 degree or an 8 degree Aquarius rising. I have to go back and look, because I spend all day looking at other people's charts. I forget about mine sometimes. But I know I'll hit mine a little bit before, which makes me happy. Hi, Eve. Because I'll be able to help you and say, okay, this is what I'm learning. Here, Megan, when we get, a couple years down the road and it's an exact transit for you, here's what I can let you know what I know. So basically, when I'm looking at transits like that, or I'm thinking of transits like that for you guys, it's like really squeezing the juice of the hermiting that comes with your, hi Justin, that comes with a 12th house transit. Anna just went through a 9th house or 12th house perfection year, so she knows that it's all about hermiting time, right? Like, not allowing yourself to feel bad about who you do connect with. And it's especially with Aquarius and Leo risings, Cancer risings, luminary placements, it truly is an absence makes the heart grow fonder. I don't want you to be afraid about people forgetting about you. I don't want you to feel scared about the things that you work so hard for going away because you have to hermit. And anything that those irrational dreams can also be when they're not fun dreams, or kind of thinking about like, what are your dreams telling you? But I also encourage you to look at them through as much of an unclouded lens as possible. Like, when people ask me, I've gotten a lot of questions about, hi TV. I do have it to top live chat, Ghost. Yes, I'm just doing a reading for Megan right now, so that's why I'm not on YouTube reading your comments as quickly. Just for the fairness of Megan, who's paid for the next 10 minutes of my time. But yeah, it's like nothing that's meant for you can ever be taken away from you. Hi Eve, they are $15 for 10 minutes, and I can send you a recording. I will send you a recording of your reading. Dreams have people in them, high school people. Listen, I always say that, and what I've noticed in my own experience, right? Because I'm right alongside this thing called life with you guys. And the things that repeat in certain forms, right? Like our, high school friends, the work people, are like this anamorphous blob that all have a tentacle that come out and relate to something that we're dealing with. So it's like in your subconscious state, right? Like whatever XYZ brain waves, I'm not educated in like the waves of dream state, that what's that tentacle that is being not perceived, what's being shown to you right now, right? And what's the red thread, like when you really take time, and it may not, don't force it, right? Let it come to you. It's a very 12th house, so just saying like it'll reveal itself in the right time, which is really annoying for those of us that have a lot of things to do. Yeah, not the red thread, exactly. Not me wearing red and everything being red today. You know, it's not different from invisible string theory, right? Different story. But allowing yourself to just analyze, wasn't there a movie called Analyze That or something like that about a therapist? I don't know why that feels relevant. And Dwadaki, I see you I'll pivot over to you in a minute, my dear. But yeah, I would just start to mull over, like, what do all of these things have in common? And like, you know, I get people that ask me questions like, oh, like in my dream, like, you know, my partner said that they wanted to sleep with other people, but they still wanted to stay together. Like, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay, maybe that's a point for you to look at how far you've come with your irrational fear of cheating. And maybe that fear wasn't always irrational, but that dream is showing you that you have up-leveled and are on new software for software that would have derailed your entire day, and you would have been able to eat for a week and a half because of a dream, right? And sometimes dreams have power, right? Like we know dreams have power. There can be truth to everything, but I think right now for you, Megan, like Pluto retrograde, my intuitive inkling is that there's something deeper, but it's not deeper in a negative way. You know, it's not, hi voice raiser, how are you? I'm right here. I'm only on Saturdays now. I haven't been on live at night. It may change during the summer, but I've been trying, like, not cycle syncing, but syncing with like a circadian rhythm. So not being on my phone super late. But yeah, I'm so glad. And I think like seeing how your dreams can be lighter, you know, and what they're telling you, and getting dream journals, like if you have that gut instinct to look at your dreams and think about the symbolism and think about what those red threads are, most of it, based on the gate transit specifically, is gate 41. In short, if you want to research that gate, work with that gate for a little while, it's the gate of contraction. So it's like every time you have a birthing contraction, you may go 3 centimeters forward, 1 centimeter back, right? And using that as your kind of mental litmus test to figure out like, okay, what's happening. I would definitely journal. Maybe we should share our dream findings in Patreon too, or like I'll put a dream chat together with Deanna and you, Megan, or any resources that we have. Any resources that you guys find for books or videos about dream decoding, feel free to drop them in our chat and Patreon too. I'll try to look to see if there's anything I can find after, maybe after today or tomorrow. But that would be fun to kind of decode back and forth. So yeah, okay, I'll make the connection later today. If not, tomorrow morning. I'm trying to think of my schedule. When I come in here for the 2 hours, it's like my vortex of time. But I'm excited for you, and I don't, I'm never, like, you're one of the people too, Megan, like there's a select few people I say, like, I'm never worried about you. And I'm not worried about you in a good way, not like in a glass child kind of way, but in like you always figure it out, and I know that you know that, and it's just a matter of like, okay, cool, like this is the next little nugget of information that I need to be able to move forward in a way that just highlights the lessons of right now. So subconscious dream decoding, seeing how far you've come, leaving no stone left unturned, and figuring out like what are some journal prompts that can help you to recall your dreams that can be helpful too. So yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy for you and everything that's evolving and will continue to evolve, like the beginning of the rest of our lives a lot of times through Pluto transit. So I'm excited. But I will pause there to pivot over to beautiful Dwadaki, which is at 1818. I love the numbers there too. They distill to a 99. So career projection, money, wealth, growth for the rest of the year, and anything to look out for, expect for 2026. So a couple things, and I will pivot over here to your chart. So let me go here. Let's see. Okay. So for us Pisces, right? I always look at what Jupiter and Neptune are doing, even though, looking at the outer planets or what those transits are doing don't exactly correlate to our sun sign. I do find it helpful just to kind of get a little bit of an idea, especially because Jupiter in Cancer is in Cancer right now, also in a water sign, and it's about to move into Leo in the not so distant future. I'm just going to do a quick little note. So a lot of water and a lot of fire. So it's the spicy Pisces. I almost feel sometimes like as Pisces, we're the fire sign of water water signs, even though that's for Scorpio, because we just feel so much all the time that it makes us like, oh, like when you're feeling so much all the time, you're like, can I just feel like a little bit less, and having to figure out how to play with that. Now, what I would say for you is to focus on the tangible, focus on the logical. Pisces reading, and can you DM me your email, just so I remember what it is, because I want to say it wasn't your government name, to put you back up, so I can find you in my inbox and I can send you all the links about mentorship. I can talk about it here too, but I just don't want to enter it in a random spot. So let's go here. So Dwadaki's chart is on the screen. Okay, there we go. So, hi Kendall, hi Siddharth. So, focusing on the practical. Pisces and water sign placements, and a lot of women who gravitate towards astrology, I'm going to say it because a spade is a spade, a lot of people, right, that gravitate towards astrology, it is two camps. Either the people who actually use it to incorporate it with their life in logical action, or it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, a mirror to just reflect back the parts that they like to see, and constantly telling themselves they're the fairest of them all, and if they write down how much money they want to make 3, 6, and 9 times, that you can do that, put your journal away, and then go to work and do nothing different with your life. But what's supposed to happen, right, and what should happen, is that you use those mantras or the things that you write down to carry you through your day. So anytime that you're presented with an opportunity, in your case, to change your career, to make more money, you want to use the tool instead of being the tool that uses you. So instead of hoping that you can just write it down, put it in a journal, and put it in your drawer and go back to it tomorrow morning, those mantras, those things that you're doing are there for a reason. You have to use the discerning process, which is big for Pisces this year, but for your placements as well. You have to use the discerning process of understanding, like, what is just enough Delulu, and when do you have to start to say, okay, this is the actual action that I'm taking, not just running and throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. And really get a clear look at yourself and those layers of like, okay, where am I just hoping that these things are going to fall into my lap, and kind of putting a band-aid over the bullet hole of the changes that actually need to be made so that I can get ahead, so that I can make more money. So if you're at a job, right, and you're locked in, and you know that raises only happen every 6 months, right, then that's data there, especially for a corporation. Now, if you say, okay, I can put, and this is just ideas that I'm giving you to kind of think about what your next step is going to be. You say, okay, I know that every 6 months is when I'm up for an evaluation for a raise. Now, I know that I also have a goal when it comes to money and wealth growth. That really, like, yes, there can be spurts, but what I've seen recently, and I've had a couple people that are doing this right now, that had been booking readings, and I lovingly said, let's take a break for 6 months. I'll see you in 6 months, and hope that, we can get back to it then when, you're in a calmer space. But people who are so hell-bent on waiting for a transit to get their wealth up or get their money up, that they don't realize how much power they have in their day-to-day. And I want you to think about how that benefits everybody else besides you. Not necessarily the people in your life, but the powers that be, right? To keep you complacent, to keep you not trying to do the things that you want to do to get into a better situation, right? Things along those lines, okay? And no one's coming to save you, and no one's coming to care about your situation more than you. We all help each other along the way, right? But it doesn't do me any favors to, with the kind of question that you're asking, to say, wait for this transit. Yes, it can be helpful, not something that's even remotely possible in a 10-minute reading, right? It can give you little outliers here, but really, if we keep coming back to similar questions, and it constantly comes back to money, that tells me that somebody's probably being impatient and not letting their money grow. They're not even putting the $5 extra that they have into a high yield savings account, and it literally sometimes just has to be that boring, right? If you want a career change, now is the time to figure out what is the actual action plan that we're going to do to make that happen. And with your undefined route, right? A lot of it is stop getting wrapped up in stress that isn't yours, and start to think about how you want to be stressed about you, not both at the same time, right? Other people's chaos is at the cost of your peace, especially with an undefined root center. That can be universally true, but that can be what's getting in the way of you seeing yourself clearly right now, or seeing what the obvious goal is for the next, year. So I would say a lot of what, even when we're just looking at year 1222, it's finding enough confidence within yourself to make decisions. And I would also encourage you to not overshare. I think that, like, I don't remember your living situation, for example, or if that's an indicator of like wanting your own apartment or wanting to move. But if I was living with my ex-boyfriend, and he was 6 years older than me. In my early 20s, he was 30 when we lived at his dad's house. And I remember him saying, my dad is going to be really upset when we move. And I'm like, okay, well, your dad is also an adult that had 30 years, which most people don't get with their children living in home. Now it's of course more common, but like, you have to understand that, like, okay, I understood in that situation that he didn't want to say something before he had the money ready for us to move out into our first apartment together. And even though that can be a painful reality, it's understanding the level of, delusion versus reality. And if your parent or somebody that you're living with, a roommate, or for example, as somebody who can be irrational when you're doing the things that you want to do, for your own life, then that's data, that's information. I having the ability to, and there's also cultural differences here, right, when it comes to like living with parents and things like that too. I don't know if I don't want to talk too much about that lane if it isn't apropos, but I trust that you're smart enough to know how to apply that to other areas of your life, right? Like, stop letting other people stress. If my boss is stressed because they don't do their work on time, that's not my problem, right? I know that if and when it actually affects my character and it comes up in a reading, for example, right? I'm my own boss, so this is just, for me, it makes it easier, me talking to myself all the time. But worry about the problem when it happens. That's the core essence of being a manifesting generator, is to worry about the problem when it happens and to be where your feet are. We can wait and hope, and it's like, oh, I can kind of relax. A lot of people right now are looking for, and I'm just like running 2 minutes behind, so I see a couple other notifications came in. If I had somebody, okay, Eve and Anna, I have you guys back to back. So in a minute, I'll pivot over to you, Eve. But my advice to you, Dwadiki, would be to start to get incredibly clear about the logical steps that you need to take. You may not like them, right? They may not be exciting, but usually, the biggest thing that holds us back when we're looking to grow is ourselves, and not being honest with ourselves about what actually needs to change. So as much as, when I have somebody that writes a comment, like yours, where it's like, let me know the chances for the rest of the year in 2026 and anything I need to know about money, right? That's like this. And I'm like, okay, let's push away from the desk. Let's take a seat. And what are we running from? What are we not addressing? What is the obvious thing that needs to be done that I am not the reader that's going to give you the easy out? I'm not, because I know it's not going to work. I could keep you in an ecosystem. If you want me to keep you here and, every Saturday you come and book a reading and pay me $15, I could do that. A lot of people do that, but I'm not the one, right? So for me, it's like making the decision of saying, okay, this is, chill out for a second. And instead of us having this conversation, go and see what it is that you need to do to get honest with yourself. And I say that because it's the only thing that would be stopping you then is you. And that's the case for most people, right? So figuring out what it is that you have to do to either get serious about what your job is or isn't paying you, and how you need to get serious about applying or picking up a side hustle and being tired in pursuit of your dreams, in pursuit of the extra money that's actually going to come your way to get you in a better financial place, is the best thing for you. So I say that with love. I will send you the recording should you choose to watch it again. I don't say anything to be intentionally hurtful, but just to be radically honest about what actually needs to happen if you want change like that to happen. And, we can't always outsmart, financial wealth or when it is or is not going to happen based on astrology. It's 50% of the pie, and then what we do with it is the other 50%. So I wish you the best. I hope, a lot of being able to sit with yourself and see what's the next step you need to take. It is going to be fruitful. I know it's going to be fruitful for you, so enjoy. But for beautiful Eve, before I pivot over into Anna, let me look at your question here. finding deeper guidance into my life purpose. I looked into gates and incarnation cross, but not how it all fits together. Okay, so we'll start with incarnation cross. I actually just brought my book down here yesterday so that I could read about incarnation crosses. So let me do this so that your info isn't on the screen. Okay, so incarnation crosses, and happy almost birthday. Yay, I'm so excited for you. Okay, so let's start. Okay, you and I have the same incarnation cross, but it's flip-flop. So this is the book that I use for incarnation crosses. It's called the Book of Destinies. Now, incarnation crosses were kind of my hyperfixation when I started. Let's see, Anderson Cooper, Angelina Jolie, Bar Raffaelli, and Cecilia Bartoli, and Russell Brand all have the same incarnation cross, all Gemini suns with gate 35. So with incarnation crosses, right, there's 4 gates of your incarnation cross. The 2 sun gates, gate 35 is 70% of basically the flavor of the type of manifesting generator you are. If you want to go a little bit deeper after looking at your energy type in human design, you want to look at your sun gate, because that's the first gate, the first 4 quadrants, and I'll show you. Let me maybe here. Oh, there we go. Yes. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't hear your feelings. I always like to say that because I'm like, oh, I know I can be harsh, but I also want to be honest, and it's constantly a battle for me in changing that and following, you know, who are the people that I have to push like a good coach would. I can take tough love easier than some people sometimes, but thank you for saying that. But Eve, right, we're looking at these 4 here. So when we're looking at your incarnation cross, these are the things that you want to become more aware of for life purpose, but these are the things that ground you. I was reading, and this is going to be helpful because, you know, everything ties together. I was reading a couple articles about discipline yesterday. One was an old one from the New York Times. And one of the comments that somebody made about being a disciplined person to figure out your life's purpose is that it also comes with people can be disciplined. It's a lot easier to be disciplined when you're regulated. And when you have the quote unquote luxury of being regulated or fighting for your ability to be regulated in an unregulated world, right? That I've been really practicing my art of detachment in the animal ER, right? When I was saying earlier, I don't know if you're here, when I was saying I'm a volunteer at a wildlife rehabilitation clinic once a week, and that being a test, right? And we have that with people. I'm like, oh my God, like I love this so much with animals any day. Give me an animal that's hurt that I can help heal. Love that. A person, go away. You know, like for me, it's just, I know myself, right? So what comes with regulating our nervous system so that we can have the opportunity to notice ourselves are those grounding earth placements. So it's almost like we're going to work a little bit in reverse, where I used to flip-flop it, where I said, let's look at the sun sign first, where right now we're going to look at what grounds you to set your day up for success, so that you know how to be able to move forward and understand what it is that you can do for career, life purpose, you know. And life purpose, I say too, let me know, you know, because Jersey, right? Let me know if you're talking about life purpose as it applies to your career, or if you're just like, who I incarnated here to be. That's a distinctive question. I realized I had to ask more in the spiritual community as of late, because people want different answers, and I want to make sure that I'm answering it in the time that we have together appropriately. So when we're starting off with understanding your grounding comes from gate 5 and learning everything about gate 5 and gate 64. It's a Sagittarius and a Virgo gate placement. Gate 5 is being relentless about your routines and what you have to do, right? I know that for me as Brenna, to give you an example, because I also have this, my incarnation cross is flip-flopped from you, that I'm not a morning person. Okay, spiritual speaking, perfect. In short, it's raising consciousness and making people more aware of what needs to change in their lives, right? Literally what just happened. I'm sensitive, you know, to Dwadaki. I care for her, but I'm also like, Dwadaki paid for my honesty. right? Not everybody is going to appreciate my honesty. People want somebody that's a wipe their ass astrologer. Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, you can treat them like that. Yeah, that's so awful they treated you like that. Not here. Not for us, right? And go cross of consciousness. Ain't gonna happen. It's like, if you want to awaken, if you want to wake yourself up, I don't even always love to use the word awaken. If you want to be, yes, Deanna, if you want to become aware of what you actually need to do to change, you and I can bring them to the water, right? Sounds good, voice raiser, thank you. But we can't make anybody drink. Whether somebody tastes the water, they're there for a little while, and then they decide they don't like it anymore is up to them, right? I've had 3 people that have, through other people that have told me, have been still talking about when I brought them to a place, and one in mentorship, one just in life, that are upset about what I made them see that they didn't want to confront. I haven't thought about them because I said my piece. We, break the wrist and walk away. In the words of that guy from Napoleon Dynamite. It's like bringing people to the water, but you can't make them drink. So consciousness, literally, when you're talking about that word, it's like, how do you bring people to an awareness of what they need to know to move on their path? It's a very transformative channel. It's like a lot of Scorpio-like energy. Like, we're the fairy women that bring people from one side to the other. Yes, and that's the thing, Eve, like, I shouldn't be telling you anything that you're not already aware of. It's like, oh, this is the vocabulary that I can use in my marketing, that I can use when I'm talking about, you can make a radio button, like when you booked with Calendly, if you use that, let's say, for sessions with people, and you want to do sessions, you can make a radio button that says, there's probably things that I'm going to say that are going to hurt your feelings. If you are sensitive to that, right, I'm probably not the person for you. Do you understand this? Yes or no? Right? And make yourself known. My grandfather always used to say that. Make yourself known. Address the elephants. Anything that you can see, that's the gate 63. That sits in, it's my son, but it's your design son, 3 months before you're born, right? Happy Saturday, Vita. Make those proclamations. Now, I know, right, that because of our incarnation cross, that not everybody's gonna like me. I have people on YouTube all the time, because there's a lot of people that are a little bit younger that ask me, how can I stream? How can I be less offended by what people say? I just know that throughout my entire life, I had to be okay with people just not liking me because of the way that I come across. It's fine. If you're everything to everyone, you're nothing to nobody. That's a big part of us unlocking the keys. What made me more aware of what I needed to do as Brenna, thank you, Vita, is our gate 5. So I am relentless about my routine and my schedule. I don't care if you DM me and you want to get in last night, last Tuesday, tomorrow morning. I'm not a morning person. No one will be on my schedule before 11 a.m. It's happened literally 3 times because of a time difference for somebody that was traveling abroad, and I knew them. Wasn't a new person, right? So getting honest with yourself about what is your rhythm, what are your routines. I'm not worried about, I don't have FOMO, what is it? It's a fear of being kept in the loop. Like, I don't need to be in the 5 a.m. club. Maybe I will be one day, maybe that'll change, right? Certainly generators and manifesting generators have that capability, but your gate 5 is an understanding that you have a fixed rhythm, and as a practitioner or as somebody that's also going to be helping other people, like, it's okay that, like, you don't have to do your rhythm like somebody else's rhythm, especially when you're hiring, hi Mr. M, especially when you're hiring mentors, things along those lines. Gate 63, right? I'm okay to ask the dumb question. Gate 64, gate 63 as well. Gate 64 that also grounds you. You have a number of, but why? Why are we doing this? What's the point that you're saying? I say this all the time. What's the point in this person asking me this? Why are they asking? What's a deeper thing we're getting here to? What's the point? Is this necessary? Why are you asking me this question? This is a mental monologue I have all the time. And instead of making myself feel bad about it and having other people that have told me, oh, don't worry, it'll sort itself out, I know that that's good for them. But I know myself in saying that, but no, like, there's certain questions I need to ask that need to be answered in order for me to commit to somebody else, to commit to something. And that's teaching, right? Leading by example, teaching other people that feel fearful of being perceived as dumb. I'm happy to ask the dumb question because I can literally see energetically or literally that everyone else is confused. I'll be the spokesperson to ask that question, to bring awareness. Exactly. No surface level. To bring awareness to what needs to be asked, right? When I'm just gonna keep referencing it because it's fresh in my mind, but with the wildlife volunteering, they kept saying RVS species, RVS species. I never heard of an RVS species. Everyone else is acting like they know what we're talking about. I'm like, what is an RVS species? Like, what is that? And they were like, oh, rabies vector species. So if you want to work with a raccoon or a fox or a coyote, you have to get vaccinated, which I did. I have my scars to prove the point to do that. So I don't look like I'm possessed the next time I'm on live because I have rabies. But that, asking the questions that feel dumb. And it sounds so simple. And, like, how is this even going to affect, like, my incarnation cross in human design? But it is in those mundane things or the things or the moments of opportunity that you're presented with to respond to your strategy every single day that helps solidify this information in a way that makes sense. You have the 515 channel as well. So I always encourage people that have the 515 or gate 5 specifically to first start looking at your life through the eyes of the seasons, like the things that you do. I don't know if you were here when I was saying how I was going live following circadian rhythm. Like, I was just too tired at night during the winter time to go on live, that I was like, oh, like, this is too much of a hump to peel myself off the couch. And I'd been doing other things where it didn't really, TikTok didn't require me to go live 4 days a week at night like I used to. I'm okay with disappointing people that can't find me at that time, right? There's other ways that I can be found. So, January through March is gonna, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 are all gonna have their different kind of flavors. And when you hit a level of momentum, as a right angle cross of consciousness person, what time are we at? No, I'm just a minute left, and then I'll pivot over into Anna. I want you to think about the way that you can get your goal achieved as sustainably yet as quickly as possible. In a perfect world, generators and manifesting generators wouldn't be locked into the same thing every single day and would be able to just go balls to the wall to do something for 12 hours and it would get done. You'd have your whole website done. You'd have, your booking software done. It can be done that way, right? Could happen on a Saturday, but you have to play with the confines of time. If you're not self-employed or if there's other things that, your attention is divided, you have children, spouses, whatever. So bringing in awareness to the questions that you need answers to and not fearing the unknown is a big part of the right angle cross of consciousness. And then figuring out what it is that your routines actually are. When I have to be up in the morning, I literally put every single solitary item that I need out. The exact, on a washcloth on my vanity is every single makeup brush in order that I need with the makeup placed above it. I untie my shoelaces if I'm wearing sneakers, and there's a sock in each shoe. I have a caddy of cubbies where my outfits for each day of the week, depending on what I'm doing, get put in that caddy. And I look at the weather, and I do that like on a Saturday, Sunday. That you have to think about. Other people may make fun of you about that. Usually it's 3 people that will get in your way before you allow yourself to do it and say like, okay, like, the lesson happens in 3s, but to think about your life and those things that really, like, your triggers, the things that feel like, annoying sensory things, and work with your humanity in that way. That's a big part to unlocking your unconscious, if you will, to make yourself more aware. Because when you become more self-aware, you can embody your incarnation cross in allowing other people to see how they can become more self-aware too. It's a double-edged sword, because once you become self-aware and try to always be aware and help other people become aware, you realize how many people either can't or don't want to. And that is its own thing. But you focus on the people that do get you, that do understand, that, will allow you to, act on your compulsions, and the people that are meant to work with you will stay. You may have some fallout of the people who will fall away, but that's a big part of your life purpose, is to do that. So I will take a picture from this book, Eve, and I will attach it with the description of our incarnation cross to the email that I send you with the link to the recording of your reading and a timestamp too. Yes, and I want you to start to notice 2 things: cycle syncing if you have a period, and the seasons of the year. I'm just going to focus on whatever I am till June 21st. That's when the summer happens, and start to play with that. Let me know in a couple months how it goes, but I'm excited for you. Thank you for booking with me as I pivot over into beautiful Anna. So we are at 4402 here. As I pivot over into beautiful Anna. So I'm in a 9th house perfection year this year, and this is the first time that I've ever gotten people like this on TikTok that have been always ask me, where are you from? What country are you from? Different languages. If you guys know a ninth house perfection year or what perfection years are, you will understand the serendipitous nature of this. But for beautiful Anna, any of my HD gates activated intuitive read. Oh my gosh. I mean, the first thing I want to say is like, right, girl? I know. Allow yourself to rest. Like, there's always things. I don't think that it's coming as a surprise to you, where like this last biggest hurdle that you jumped over, right? Like, you noticed it, you were like, oh, I'm not gonna touch that. I touched it enough. The bottom of my shoes got melted, but I still jumped over it, and I was able to put on a new pair of shoes on the other side. And also kind of full circle to when I started with Megan in our first reading, understanding that the things that burned you last time, right, aren't burning you now. And how far and how that's a level of confidence that I could read for you all day long, but you can't feel it unless you go through it and come out the other side unscathed. You know, maybe you're a little scathed, maybe there's some battle scars, but like that's a confidence that only we can give ourselves through confronting the hard thing. And understanding, and I'll pull up your chart in a second so I can look at some of the gates are activated, but understanding that because of that contraction, which is where our Pluto retrograde is right now, gate 41, I can't remember, you should feel proud. Like, you know, no one else is going to feel proud for you. I know other people do. Of course, I'm proud of you. I know Justin is proud of you, but it's like, even everything that happened after your grandfather passed and looking at the lack of support from coworkers, right? Or your boss who you've cared for, that's the last time that shit's ever going to happen to you. Like, you will not put out for people who do not put out for you, you know, in a healthy, boundaried way. Like, not overextending yourself and expecting you out of other people. And knowing that doing things like that for people once in a while, bringing them a cookie, if you give a mouse a cookie, you know, if you, I don't know if John Wick or Baba Yaga means anything to you, but I've just felt the need to say that. Or like action movies, Vin Diesel. I was gonna say Fast and Furious, but Fear Factor is what came to mind. That's interesting. Maybe it's just a sign watching a movie with Justin today, but it's that kind of like, yeah. Oh, I love that. We just watched we watched the first one, and I said to my husband, I was like, if you don't fast forward the scene with that damn dog, I swear to God, I don't want to, no animals can be harmed in any movie that I'm watching. I'll rate it, 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. No, but like, I think just acknowledging how well you've integrated everything that you've learned or studied with people on your own, you allowed it to unravel and now it's unfolding, feels appropriate to say. Like, it's not I feel like nothing will, because I went through similar experiences this year too, like, you already had the deepest, darkest low, hi Steph, that you could go to in a lot of ways this year, even though ironically, I feel like other things in your life have been more on paper challenging, but this was like, maybe because that was a challenge you expected, but the challenges this year weren't challenges that you exactly expected. And it's like, it will never be that deep anymore. You know how to handle the waves when they come, because there are waves. That someone was asking me, like, how do you stay so positive yesterday? And I was like, because I know the good times don't last and the bad ones don't last forever either, right? It's always in waves, finding that flow. And, with your spleen, a splenic energy, there's an opportunity to say, like, ooh, I see where this is coming. I can sense that we're going through another weird and wonky wave as a society, and how that may be affected, hi Carol, by your relationship to the greater, wider world, and how you can allow yourself to, say, I got my surfboard. Yes, exactly. Energy, not your enemy. I love that. I love that so much. Wait, screenshot that. Save that for your teachings if you haven't already. But yeah, I don't feel like, also, again, I'm not worried about you in the best way. Not in a glass child kind of way, what I said to Megan, but in like I know that you know how to navigate it now. And if you don't know, you know where to look, you know where to go, you have your tools. And this really feels like a period to say, like, I'm excited for what's coming. Like, exactly. It's just data. It's just data, right? Like when you see somebody that's bent out of shape, you're welcome. Bent out of shape, and you know, I'm amazed, like what truly when I started volunteering again, because I haven't worked like in a normal job, you know, for a while. And I'm amazed at how many people or how much energy I've outgrown, and really like realizing like, oh, a lot of the world has stayed in that space. Like I think a lot of us can relate to that, where it's like, oh wow, like you really get bent out of shape about things that, you know, the punishment doesn't fit the crime, and allowing the way that people react for that to not be your problem, right? Like that it doesn't have to be this way, feels very appropriate. And I think that you and I are naturally detached people, but because of the demands energetically of the people around us growing up in our teens, in our early 20s, that we learn to people please, because there was an expectation put on us as women, by women, as people who loved us. Thank you, Bob. As people who loved us, that we had to be people pleasers, realizing that love was actually conditional. It wasn't unconditional by people. It should have been unconditional from, you know, if I'm good, then you know, they'll be nice to me, right? When for people in your life, it shouldn't have been that way. And so now you're in that point where it's like, it's okay to be inconvenient at the, you know, if at the expense of, that's not like the exact right wording, like at the expense of yourself. It's like allow yourself to be perceived as inconvenient if you don't go without. And really leaning into like, right, like my perfection year this year is Libra ruled, so I feel like I'm learning all the lessons of Libra right now. Yes, Uranus in your 7th is letting me. Yes, absolutely. And you know, the relation, like you've already kind of I feel like projectors and Aquarius placements were so similar in that like we deal with things and a little bit ahead of the curve. I was saying that too about a year, maybe even 2 years ago now on live, because I remember Gabe and I talking about it, and how as people who are meant to teach other people, we learn the lesson a little bit ahead of time so that when our students get hit with that wave, we can help them. Like it's like, okay, I learned this, like I'm good so that I can help you guys move forward. But it's similar, I think a lot of projectors, and especially with your spleen, like, you know, looking ahead and seeing things, before they happen. Let me pause here just to bring up your chart, and let's look at some of the gate activations. I need cuticle oil. I usually don't pick at my... This is my gate 5 sensory stuff, the Virgo Chiron things. It's like if I have something that's stuck, I'm like, I need to get it off right now. Right, this is gonna distract me. Okay. There we go. I'll be on for another hour, Ghost. Nobody booked right after, so I can pivot to Mr. M and all my YouTube crew. I can go back and answer some more of your comments. I saw something about being at the club at 3 a.m. I love that. I mean, that's a beautiful sight to see, but I'm exhausted thinking about that. There we go. Yeah, are you really? Oh my God. Yes, we're like, oh, all the time. My husband does it too. Sagittarius rising things. Way before I discovered, yes, we should sleep separately. See, and imagine like how offensive that would be without having the like ability to be confident in your relationship enough to like know that like that's okay, and that doesn't mean that anything bad's gonna happen. I want to think about the best way to do this since nobody booked, so we have a little extra time together. A lot of what I've been gravitating towards actually is gate 1, our Pluto gate 1 for us. Well, the person I read for yesterday was also 36. Let me bring up. I'm going to bring up the transits on one side just so I can compare and contrast. Yeah, it helped, right? It's like, take nothing personal. to tomorrow too. Saturn. Oh my God. You're like, give me a break, please. Yeah. Oh. That's, yeah, 10 degrees. Let me look at my little cheat sheet. There we go. Yeah, and my last one. Okay, so is everybody here 36 besides myself? Everyone's in their 30. Everyone's 36. Okay, let me just compare for a second. So, Anna. Oh, okay. Well, we have gate 8 that's activated in an unconscious side, so channel of inspiration. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, within the next, where is that? Our Uranus, design Uranus. Yeah, let me look at some of the, yeah, allowing yourself to just have fun. Like, it's okay to have fun and allow yourself to have fun because your throat, you have a lot of throat activation right now. Our gate 20 is where our Uranus is right now, which is giving you extra activation in your spleen and then defining your throat temporarily. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like more of a time to market, you know, promote yourself. We also have your sacral that's defined with gate 42. Well, you have gate 42 with gate 53, which is where our Jupiter is. I was talking about that in Cancer yesterday. Thank you, William. If you can write it once and then chill, my guy. Jesus would appreciate that. Gate 49, gate 55. Yeah, you're pretty defined right now. Almost everything is defined besides your head still, and then your motivation. Yeah, I think it's like ride the wave. Hi, Freddie. You won't have it forever, right? So I think that your DNA is wired to start to spin your wheels, but I would not spin your wheels at the expense of capitalizing on the energy. Yeah, like a lot. I mean, I think there's just so much power. One thing I will say, when you're overworking yourself, you will get sick. So if you've just overcome a cold, or if you feel yourself like, I'm gonna get sick if I push myself, I want you to ask yourself, like, what's the most efficient yet quick way that I can get this thing done? It's so funny because I had somebody said to me yesterday that like, yeah, it's a generator, like they don't know when enough is enough. And I'm like, I would argue, sorry, that's probably projectors too. I think two things can be true at the same time, but I think it's very hard for you guys to know when enough is enough. But like just when you start to feel like, take, you know, the echinacea, the things for allergies, things that can keep your immune system, like you have to be even more. Yeah, I already knew when I said it. Exactly. Just that Justin Thursday, I started to feel sick and called out good. Like I would love for you to get to a place where you have the option to go in office on certain days. I wonder if that's something in the not so distant future that can happen. But like I would have, like, you have your spiritual baddie. Hi Hazara. What's it called? Oh, you did? Okay, good. I love that. We're manifesting that for you. And so it is. Congratulations. I love that you can work from home. I can just like see you at your kitchen table, like, you know, like looking out the window, and all of that. Yeah. I mean, I can't see why not. Don't get discouraged if they say no. I would just ask again, come the winter, right? Maybe something will happen on the metro. Yeah. The metro where they can't, oh, sorry, I can't get there. Unless you guys want to pay $80 for my cab fare, you know, I'm good. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of what I've been thinking about. The people that have come to me are a lot of Gemini places. Yeah, I don't blame you. And I don't think, like, I really feel, and I have this little oyster that I got from New Orleans with a little pearl in it. It's like the sand is still there, right? But you've turned it into a pearl. So no matter what happens, you'll be fine. It's just a matter of, if you feel that way, right? The money start being more frugal. Extra money in the savings account, right? Like I am like, okay, I have a very low credit card debt right now. I'm like, that'll get paid off in no time. And then we're not using credit cards for a while, right? I'll go through like periods and phases, but like, anything that you can do to offset anything with interest, or like any like get on a plan, have like the trend that shouldn't be a trend, but it is a trend, which has been helpful because people are doing it, is like that admin hour with your spouse or your friends to like do all the things that you guys don't really want to do, and like make it fun, like get a little like cute like snack tray of all the things that you guys enjoy, you know, those kinds of things. Exactly, because the boring stuff is what makes you have the ability to have more fun. And then say like, you don't realistically, you know, the longest time it will take is the first time you guys sit down and come up with the plan, and the next time, you know, you go back. Yeah, that's perfect. Like maximum an hour. I'm thinking a half hour to really look into your accounts, know where the money's going, you know, just so you see what's coming in and going out, and tracking it to the best of your ability, so that way you're not surprised, or you're prepared for when the surprises come. Closed. I would, you know, just allow yourself to, this is so Aquarius rising of me to say, but I'm like, oh, I'm such a silly human that like I won't allow myself to like do the human thing. Like I literally think like, oh, silly human. Like I think that about other people, and I think that about myself too. Or I'm like, oh, this is so funny that like I won't take the time to like do this as like a little silly human, you know, and like that my time here is so short, like everybody else is in the comparison of life. And you know, what does being human entail? Hi, Polly. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? I think that when we are spiritual people, we try to outsmart the things that we want to when it comes to being human, and that doesn't do us any favors, right? Like we get ourselves, we need to learn as spiritual people how to minimize the amount of energy and time, thank you, energy and time we waste being human. Like I want to get back to being, you know, the spiritual self for doing the things like my husband spent 3 days because he's a tech guy and like does this for work, and he built an app that tracks all of our projections for basically everything in our lives that we're doing. I'm like, that's where he comes in. That's why I'm married to one. I married into the skill set. You know, and he really was like, everything is getting tracked, you know, just to make sure that we're on our goals. And it's like, okay, that took long so that we can remember to go. And I do speak fast. Yeah. Oh, you're sweet. You know, we do speak about, I'm going to talk more just because you don't want me to. There's a lot of opportunities for us to just refine our human time. I keep wanting to say go back to the mountains, like go outside, like get walking, you know, hi Sterling, you know, walking, all those kinds of things. Like what are the things that you can do? Like that's how I've been feeling now that it's nice out. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to like get off my phone and go outside. Like I love not being on my phone for hours at a time, or like not having to be on my computer. Like even the last 2 days, like I always put in my automations, like for what I post, like drop your energy type and rising sign. I'll have time to get back to them today, but like I need people to get mad, you know. I always know, I can feel it when people get ticked off, like she hasn't written back to me in 3 days. I'm like, you're getting mad, and people have said it to me too, very rarely, but it's like you're getting a free tip online for somebody that you barely engage with. Like you get what you get, you don't get upset. If I needed 3 days to be off my phone to literally touch grass and hug a tree, like I'm gonna do that. And again, it's like allowing yourself to, in doing those things, right? Like that's a variation of leadership. In doing those things, you teach people that they, thank you, Gabe, that they need to do those things for themselves too. Aw, Forever Rose is so cute. Even, you know, meaning it or not meaning to, right? And allowing yourself to have that distance and perspective and see how to be more effective. And your grandma says hi, I love that. I know, like all our grandmas on the velvet couch together, Rosa and Rosa. Yeah, and just not letting yourself be offended by anything or anyone that's offended by you. They're so insignificant. So, you know, in the last note that I'll say is like, just allow yourself to enjoy the time that you have right now and the way that you can enjoy it, and don't try to future predict when the next shitty thing is going to happen and how that you're going to have to deal with that. There's always going to be shitty things, but just as shitty things can happen, there's also going to be good things that are happening too. And so, you know, we spend so much time when we live in defense, or like, you know, having to go through the world with gloves on, and you're, you know, Gabe too, myself, like Deanna, that happens, right? So we need to learn how to say, I have the gloves, but I'm going to put them on when I need them, right? So the other shoe always drops, I'm choosing. Exactly. And honestly, sometimes it takes like that shoe to drop and to fall on Harun's head to get him to take his own advice. For us to listen, right? It needs to fall through the floor to the bottom apartment, the basement apartment, to crash so far down that for us to actually listen. And, you know, figure out whatever it is that we need to do to take care of ourselves. Yeah. And they have no idea what's going on. That's the best part. I'm like having 2 conversations at one time right now. That's the best part for me. It's like how you can find ways to be incognito online, which is so Scorpio. Like my Scorpio placements and changing with that, you know. Be quite what, you know. The perfection. Yes, perfected year 7 for me. Yeah, definitely highlighting adaptive boundaries 100%. Yeah, and like knowing, I feel like that's the riddles of the 5 line too, like knowing the projection versus projected, like time to, like, it's all about the duality of man, right? Like, and figuring out what that looks like. Yes, you could call him Mr. B-Tech. He does have a name. I said at 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm gonna be doing a husband unboxing, and then he can answer all your questions. But yes, it's so true. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I think I still have a couple reading spots open. If anyone wants to book them, I'll wait for a little while. But yeah, be quite nice to talk to. Anna, do you know Shirley, or does Shirley just say your name? Or Surly? No answer is an answer. I was like, is Surly just being creepy? Yeah. I don't know you. That sounds about right. I was like, is this somebody that you added in? I was like, it's interesting, like the YouTubeification of TikTok right now. So like the cross-pollination of types of comments that you get, right? And 9th house perfection year things. I get everyone talking about Jesus and fighting about what religion they are, or people that are trying to speak English that don't know how to do it other than being disruptive. So in the bounce, I mean, just being like, can I just talk to my people? Like, what is happening? It is so 9th house, but I'm like, okay, I'll keep you engaged enough to, they help boost us, you know, in the algorithm. So whatever. I know, it really is. It really is. But yeah, so if you guys have any other questions about astrology, about human design, let me know. And you guys can drop them in the comments before I head out for the day. Let me pivot over. Deanna, I don't know if you're still here, girl, but let me know too. You're just venting, I understand. I'm able to activate my fortune cookie. I love that. How old are you going to be live? I don't know what you mean. Or how long maybe you meant? Yeah, because you asked after. Thank you for teaching about your astrology chart. Yeah, of course. I know. I'm not even doing the translating. I'm like, if it doesn't do it automatically, like, you know, okay. I feel like if I said no need, like for cursing, you know, figuring it out. How is my left angle fixed cross different? I think there's 2 questions in one. So there's a left angle cross, right? And then fixed. What do you mean by fixed? Like the gates of, so your immutable sun So all of the gates of your incarnation cross wouldn't be fixed in the modality as it is astrology. But that leads me to believe, Deanna, that you're talking about your arrows that are fixed. Because if you have left facing arrows, they're kind of in correlation with your incarnation cross, but that's really what gives us the variables at the bottom of your chart. So Anna's chart is still up on the screen, which is digestion, sense, design, sense, motivation. That comes from the arrows. So I'll give you a second too. Okay. I'm just gonna mute people so that I can see you guys in between. Sorry. I got what I needed out of them. Now I'm just muting them. There we go. Oh, okay. So left angle. So how is your left angle mutable cross different? How is it different from what exactly? Like, is it oh, like different from my variation of the incarnation cross? Is that what you mean? Like a mutable left cross? Because mine is mutable too. Like, so everyone who has the wait, no, because you don't have left angle cross of consciousness. I think it's only right angle. Or is for you, it's left angle cross. Remind me of your personality, son, again, and I'll bring it up. Yeah. No, literally. Okay, so someone was asking me about this. I have a 22-degree Pisces Venus. For my entire life, I have always gotten one person from a foreign country that has become obsessed with trying to talk to me, date me, message me, stalk me, you know, on the internet. Like, that it has always happened. I think it's a Scorpio too, but like, I'm just so used to it now. But I'm like, okay, but how does it frustrate my people that are in the room? Or if it doesn't, you know, ideally I'd rather than go over to YouTube because it does more for me, but better than nothing, I guess. And like, I can have this conversation with Anna and Orion and there's no concept of anything that's going on, which is just funny. Oh, that was okay. Okay, so left angle. Okay. So let me bring up your chart, Deanna, because I think that'll help me, like, the visual learner in me. Yeah. The degree, it really is. I mean, so I have a client that's a projector that I've been working with one-on-one behind the scenes, and I really hope that sooner rather than later she'll start her human design podcast, because I've been helping her. Every single person in her life that has gotten in her way, it's the most incessant and insane level of 22-degree placements I've ever seen. Like, insidious. Like, I was like, oh my God. I felt awful for her. And it's like the hits just keep on coming. Like, the level of exhaustion is so real for her. Deanna, yes, exactly. And in some, you know what's funny, because she's not here, I mean, maybe she's here, but probably not, if you're coming, then you can go away, I got a random DM from somebody who is a friend of Morgan's now boyfriend, who is on live, and how she was like, we went on a group vacation together with Morgan, and like, you came up on her For You page, so I'm taking this as a sign. And like, you know, did you experience anything like weird with her? And I just responded like, LOL, like, how much time do you have? But I forgot. Yes, exactly. I forgot. And I was like, it's insane to me. You know, I said this to this girl's name. I was like, it's crazy to me that you even know who I am, because I forget that I had somebody that lived with me for a month. You know, like, it's like that the Aquarius Mars in me is like, once you've been so like blatantly disrespectful, like I'll never think about you again. It's like a light that I unplugged and I, donated to Goodwill. And it's like, I don't live there anymore. I'm sorry that you do, and good to know you're in the same exact spot. But she was telling me that, and it's very 22 degrees, right? It's like okay, like it's embarrassing. Like I don't want to be, in her case, in my mid 30s now, talking about something that happened 2 years ago. If I were in her position, no one would ever fucking know that story. That would go with me to the grave. Like, no. So, who knows? I mean, but I that just like, affirmation of making the right decisions of like people, I'm okay with, if people want to still talk about me years later, okay. But I don't even necessarily find joy. Like, it's not like I find joy in it. It's a matter of like, in the moment it's laughable, but it's like, how embarrassing that, like, I said to this girl, I was like, that's so embarrassing for her that you even know who I am. Like, I don't even know why she would find a need for even on a group trip with you would think a new boyfriend, you're trying to make a good impression to his friends, why I would even remotely come up in conversation. And that I was jealous specifically. I was like, jealous of you being a recent divorcee that lived in my basement in a room with one window, and the only time you made money was when I brought you up to do readings with me because you couldn't be bothered to even get a job, even though I gave you multiple opportunities and literally taught you how to do everything, and you still didn't do it. Yeah, I must be jealous of that. Got it. But it's like anyone, like, it's like the moms, like, she grew up in an environment where people told her that, like, and that's where when people say, like, the audacity, but I was like, imagine being that delusional. And that's the type of people in the spiritual space that exist, that I'm like, I'm like the Antichrist to people like you. So of course you're still going to talk about it. But it's like that, yeah. And it's like, and then you're going to go and tell people how to enlighten themselves. Got it. Okay. Like, and the thing is, like, two things can be true. She actually is really good at astrology and tarot, but she didn't actually give a fuck about the other people that she was reading for. It's like, look how cool that I am doing something that other people don't know how to do. Like, so, okay. Like, with your 85th new account that nobody cares about. Congratulations. How embarrassing in your mid-30s, and that's what you have to say for yourself. Like, how about we be quiet and work on our stuff until we have something to talk about? Yeah, exactly. And that's fine, but it's like, okay, congratulations. You know what you get roped into? Another entitled white woman who is living up to the stereotype in spirituality that gives no honor to everything. Like, and it's like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. So it's like, okay, if you want to run your tricks in circles to everybody, but that's why, like, I don't play. You know what I mean? Like, I had, like, when you guys were, a part of that process, I made it known that she wasn't here anymore. But it's like, I have other shit to do, like, other things going on. Let's move forward. Want better for yourself than talking about who's wronged you in the past. But yeah, 1,000%. Because, like, I'm here to learn. Like, I'm here to learn and be a student of life too. So it's like, no one was ever going to live with me ever again. I tried it one last time with my dad to clear myself of my conscience, and knowing that I did everything that I could while he was still alive. He still is now, but, hang on by a thread. And that's what I had to do. But it's like, it's a micro example of a macro problem that I will give people the opportunity, but once it truly starts to affect my life, I'm good. Like, again, don't let the door hit you on the way out. It can't. I've given away a lot of my life in my early years to people who didn't deserve it, and that's how the cookie crumbles. I actually, when I got the message, I had to think about who she was talking about for 30 seconds. I was like, wait, what? Like, who is even messaging me about this? Exactly. And I was talking to Leah, who's one of my mentees right now, and she gave me this language. Instead of us moving into a vertical model, it's becoming horizontal. But, having ourselves feel like there's a seat at the table for everybody, right? And you don't also have to elbow your way through to get to that seat. So, yeah, Fofana, I know. Reminds me of high school. Exactly, girl. I always say when I mention something that I'm going through, we're probably all going through a variation of the same thing. I think that's also Pluto retrograde. It's like who's coming out of the woodwork and like how embarrassing is that? Yes, exactly. Yes, Aquarius, Pluto. Yes, yes, yes. So true. So true. So high school and just embarrassing. Like that's really what you want to talk about and be known for. All right. Like, congratulations. I blame a version of reality TV for that too. And more people thinking that their personal drama is much more interesting. If I'm not getting paid to share it, I'm not gonna share it. If I was hired by Bravo, I'm happy to all day long, air my shit out. But like, that comes at a cost, literally. Okay, Deanna, sorry I digressed off of that. But you were asking, okay, so mutable left cross difference. So my confusion lies with what do you mean by the word difference? Like different from what? Like difference in relation to what? Or you just mean like what does your incarnation cross mean? Like period. Like what's the difference between yours and anybody else's? Like any of the incarnation crosses? A lot of people do free energy work in the form of putting out. Yes, it's true. Yes. I've been there. I have been there. Yeah, I had to learn the hard way. You know, it was just the only way that my placements were ever gonna learn. And we all have things that we go through like that. But yeah, I just, you have to ask yourself what's in it for you. And I had a couple people that were long-term clients of mine that just fell, off because they didn't. Yeah, exactly. I know. We're both stubborn in that way. I think it's our Scorpio, all that fixed. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I didn't want to forget Deanna's, to do that for Deanna too. Yeah, it went out of my head. But that's like when I get people that book with me or want mentorship from me and they're in their like 60s and 70s sometimes. It's very hard for me to work, like I don't work in mentorship anymore with people that are in that age bracket because I'm offended personally at the lack of capability that they have. Like there's some people that are at the age bracket that come to me and it's one thing if like, okay, if you're learning how to decode your human design or your astrology, yes, but it's like if I'm teaching you like basic life skills at that age, like I'm not the one that has patience for that. I had to do that with my parents, right? So it's like I would be mortified to be in my 70s. And then it's the entitlement that also comes with that age where like they think that they know everything, but yet they still pay me to teach them something. Yeah, it's true. It's like, are they really going to change? Like, that's a lot of people are like, why'd you go into contact with your mom? And I was like, because she's, in her 60s. Like, am I going to change somebody like that? No. So I move forward. I thought you did right mutual cross before with Anna. So Anna, she is so Eve was the one who I did incarnation cross with. It's not exactly, I think my confusion is lying in how you're describing the incarnation crosses. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not traditional HD. I'm trying to follow your thought processes with how you're overlapping astrology and human design. So incarnation crosses, they're always going to be, I think you're asking left angle cross versus right angle cross. Like what's the difference for somebody? So all left angle crosses, they're not exactly tied to, how do I word this? Like, left angle crosses are people who have fixed personal karma, where like I have a left angle cross is transpersonal, right angle cross is personal, and juxtaposition cross is like right in the middle. So left angle cross people need other people to give them a leg up, whereas right angle cross people can give themselves a leg up on their own. Is like the most simplistic way I can describe it. Whether it's a fixed left angle cross, mutable left angle cross isn't relevant to that description. So a left angle cross person has many people that they meet in transformative moments of their lives that they're like, oh, I can attribute XYZ, that person. Okay, no, it's okay. I was like, because I know how you speak, so I'm like, okay, what is Deanna working on, and how can I decode? That's the benefit of my Scorpio and the 1-3 teacher, right? I'm like, how can I decode all of the things that you're working on so I know where the wires are getting crossed? But Yeah, so left angle cross people have like distinct, like it's like they're the person that's like, oh, I always remember my middle school principal because they saw that I needed new clothes when I didn't, hi Mercury, when I didn't have new clothes, and now, you know, that they allowed me to have my mind altered in terms of believing in humanity again. For me as a right angle cross person, it's more so like themes of my life and the varying cast of characters that were in my life at different transformational periods. So like when I went to my 4-year school, when I got my bachelor's degree at Fordham, like me leaving home for the first time and living in the city, everyone that was a part of that cast, you know, in my life at that time, some I'm still in touch with, some it was just a reason or a season, like that the energy of that experience was marked a different chapter in my life, where I would say left angle cross, if I had to like ground it, it's more so like the people that help you make the story, like more community focused, if you will, where for me as a right angle cross person, it's more like, okay, what did I feel like we have more of a natural ability to see the thing of our own volition and then move forward in that way. Is that always the case? Probably not, but I think is like a simplistic generalization of the two that generally stands true. Hello, how are you? Pisces rising. Hello, Elisa. Hi, Peter. I feel like as a left angle cross, it's been a lot of almost fated meetings. Yes, exactly. And I think like not being offended when people go by the wayside, you know, like because as a left angle cross person or as a line 3 person, like again, reason and a season for everything. So it's like if I as a 1-3 right angle cross person have somebody that's in my life for a while and then they decide to crash out and move on, like they can't understand why I'm not more affected by it, but it's like it's radical acceptance, and like I just expect that to be like a part of life. Like there's nothing, I wasn't necessarily always that way, but I also don't think it was as hard for me as other people sometimes, like to not be so personally affected or offended. And there's teachings in that for both people. At seasons of my life. Yes, exactly. And I wonder, like, then it's like we look at the details, like are your Aries placements more helpful in that regard? Like, does that add to a layer of ease in that, right? Like it's interesting. Or a 2 line, like needing to hermit. I'm just gonna plug in my laptop. Yeah. Oh, I can't explain how thankful of conversations with you on Hotline. I'm so glad. I have to send you the last 2 recordings so we can get you on the schedule for this month, Deanna. But yeah, this would be a good, so like we're at the 120 mark, roughly 122. Being a 5-2 is probably a huge help. Yeah, I know. Like, what in your personal experience do you feel helps with that too? Yes, you are growing as a mentor, teacher, guide. It's just a matter of like you're growing, you've already had it within you, but it's just refining how you want to step into the light. Like what's your thing that you want to be known for at this phase of life? But it's like you are that. So how do we, quantum leaping into that? I'm at the point I have no one in my inner circle, but just forced proximity with family. Yeah, I think, you know, it is that, and I don't know how old you are, Elisa, but I think everybody has that moment, and this may be appropriate for you too, but talking about, there's this one specific bird that I hadn't seen. There's a couple of them. They're all red, and they have black wings, and I never noticed them before in our area until today, and I've seen a couple of them. I forget what they're called, because I looked up a scarlet tanager, I think is what they're called, so maybe look up bird symbolism. However, Elisa, learning like where you have been the unintentional reciprocant of conditional love, or playing a role in that understanding of love being conditional, and figuring out like, okay, just because the people that should with your family have loved you in a certain way, it doesn't mean that people that don't. Okay, so like your chosen family, right? Like choosing the people, and it has a lot to do with our North Node and your ascendant right now too. Like figuring out who are the people that you actually want around you. like, I'm okay with like less is more. I like a lot of people, but I love very few people, right? Like I have a love of humanity, but like real like people that understand me and like I could actually go to. But I'm also like, my husband and I both have a lot of Aquarius, so we're very self-sufficient, efficient people. But I also know that makes people take things for granted. They like to weasel their way out of, we're all the ones always driving down there and no one comes up to see us, like those kinds of things. So wanting to be sensitive to those types of interactions as well. Yeah, I'll pause there just to, if that helped at all. Yeah. Oh, you're an Aquarius. Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm aware of the people that, send me the bougie flower bouquet, when they know something good or bad has happened just because they can, and people that have the disposable income to do that as my close friends and being the one that does that. But I've done it more for people who aren't related to me than the people that are, because the people that are related to me don't have that, they don't live that lifestyle, right? Like they don't, and that lifestyle comes with an energy associated with it too. Hi, Dev Leo, how are you? Yeah, it's a thing I've always known. Exactly. So, just things that like I realized within the last couple years that there are certain things that I'm unwilling to explain to other adults who want to be my friend. So if they don't naturally have the disposition that I do, or their mindset is different, I teach people all day long. I teach my clients, but I don't teach my friends or people that are friends that I consider family. I don't have to teach them how to treat me, right? I very, very rarely now, when it comes to like my personal life, give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Like I see the pattern, right? Because I work with so many people. I've met with so many people for a long time, a lot of people over the last 10 years of my life. So it's a matter of, and a lot of people too, as women in business, and I notice this, it's like they want to befriend you because they want things for free. Wrong person, right? I've outgrown that. I did a lot of things for free. Sorry you didn't find me 10 years ago. Ship has sailed. And I like solitude. Like being alone versus lonely are two different things. And I think starting to understand, like, do you actually feel lonely? Or are you comparing your need for solitude to somebody else who needs to be around people? Especially as an Aquarius, right? So like most people would see my life and be like, oh my God, she's probably so lonely. I enjoy not having to talk to people, sometimes for days at a time. If the only person I talk to is my husband and my cat, I'm fine with that. My husband likes to game. I like to read. Perfect combination, or just like putz around my house and redecorate and clean and do all the housewifely adult duties. But yeah, or co-veg, like, yeah, exactly. So like, don't compare yourself and make yourself feel bad for something that may not be a problem. Like, first identify, like, do I actually find a problem with this, or is this just a way that I live my life that other people don't know how to do? Like, my closest friends I talk to maybe once a week via text message only because they live states and hours away from me, which is also very Aquarius to like, I don't have a friend group. I have people that live in different areas that don't necessarily cross-pollinate. Not because I don't need them to, I keep it that way intentionally. It's just the way that the cookie crumbled. Like and also, especially now being married, and my husband and I getting married almost a year ago, and the first year of marriage, and especially noticing friends who are married, right? Like there's a certain level of groundedness that you should have with your husband, that like there's conversations you have with your husband or your spouse that like you should be satisfied with talking about them in that area. And there's, noticing where I was friendships with people that treated me like a replacement husband, and I was like, oh, your marriage is actually shit, and you're also recently married, so we should not be having that problem, right? Now, if you talk to somebody else at different placements, they might feel differently about it, right? Like a lot of Gemini may need different people, different things for different people, even different aspects of a Pisces Venus, even though I'm a Pisces Venus. But there's a certain energy that I also didn't want around me in my first year of marriage or when we got married, that like, especially for people who were married. And also like as a married person, like I also sometimes will tell people like, don't tell me your marriage problems, because like I'm unable, if I see a pattern and you're still choosing to stay with that person, just know I'm not the type, if you stay with that person, I'm not the type of person after something like that has happened. You may accept that in your marriage, but I will not be able to ever see that person in a different way ever again. Like I may forget it temporarily sometimes a few years down the road, but I can't forgive that. If it's somebody that's my friend and they're being treated like shit, like, come on now, you know, but like, it's what different people have different paths that they need to take. But I was like, oh, like I had 2 people in my life that happened to, and I was like we don't have a friendship anymore. And I was like, I can't be a part of that. So, you know, but for you, Elisa, right, it's like taking stock of like what you actually appreciate and what actually brings you joy, and allowing that solitude to be, you know, a place of recovery rather than a sore spot that maybe doesn't have to be a sore spot. And like, what is the actual sore spot within that? Yeah, cool vegging, I love that. I'm coming to value my solitude, same. Gaming and reading, there you go. Finding people who you can energetically exist with without talking so much, absolutely. Still anticipating the formation. Yes, exactly. Because I find like I like, and as a 1-3, I value like, even when I'm in a group, like in a group setting at a party, I really only choose to catch up with one person at a time. I don't force myself to be divided around having to attend to everybody at one time. And also, yeah, of course, I just know it very well, you know. Thank you, Nurul. And forced proximity with family leads me to believe that it is, hi, King Piscean, is like maybe you're living with somebody too. And I think it's challenging for us, you know, when you're so close to the fire, it's hard for us to see like another person clearly. Yeah, exactly. And that's just how you are, right? It's like, don't demonize how you are because other people aren't like that, you know. And don't take anyone that's an extrovert treat you differently or make it seem like there's something wrong with you, right? Hello, I know. I was saying all my OGs were back on this live throughout the day. There was a friend of mine that's a Pisces rising, actually, an Aquarius sun, Pisces rising, as well. And she, and a Libra sun. Yes, exactly. That's what human design, like, that's a point of human design. Like, I don't demonize myself, and I also don't excuse my own behavior just because of my chart. If I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, right? It's like, do as I say, end as I do. With human design, like, you know, walking that line. But okay, so my friend Elisa, that's an Aquarius sun, Libra moon, Pisces rising, had, her husband's a Pisces sun too. And she had a friend that was in a bad relationship. Her son is severely autistic. You know, it's just like a rough borderline hillbilly from, you know, like out west. The further you go into the United States, you see more of that archetype. And this friend of my friend was very judgmental of my friend's husband, my friend, the Aquarius friend's husband. And because her husband is also a Pisces, you know, I was like, I am not going to take advice from somebody's life that I don't admire, right? It's like, you don't take advice or value somebody's opinion I'm like, I would not trade your life for anything. And, you know, I understand that her life is more difficult because she has a son that's autistic, right? But it's like, there are other things that person should be focusing on than being judgmental over a friend's husband. Not to say that she can't have her judgments, but it's like, there's a way that people say things sometimes, and I wish I could give like a more, you know, obvious example of the situation that made it sound a little bit more clear. But yeah, absolutely. And like the judgments aren't valid. Usually the judgment is like, look over there, don't look at me, right? Like, and depending on like the setting, how often people say it, what they say out loud, it's like most judgments and loud judgments are deflections. Look over there, don't look at, it's a tactic and deflection. So I'm always kind of analytical of people like that too. And it's like I forget where I was going because we were talking about, forced proximity with family. Yeah, no one could force me to be in proximity to my family if I don't want to be there. Like, okay, bye. I really, truly secure people will not be judgmental. Yes. But as understanding as they can be, it's true. And like want to come to a place of understanding the defense mechanism that's overused. It's true. I just like, the older I've gotten, and the more I am around adults or adults that are older than me, like the less tolerance I have, because I'm like, I was just talking about this with one of Alyssa, who's a colleague of mine, that I did, she does psychic mediumship on here. The Musical Medium is her username. And she's a Capricorn rising, and me an Aquarius rising. We have a lot of Saturn, right? So we were saying how, she was going through an experience with somebody that was like not, if I could share it online, I would, but I'm protecting her privacy because there was a lot of weird synchronicities between her story and us knowing the same people and not even realizing it. But long story short, that as a Saturn ruled person, and someone with a lot of Scorpio too, but for her and I placements, we were commiserating over our Saturn ruled energy rising, that we've been through hard shit and we don't, take our diaper off and throw it at other people like a toddler, right? Like, it's like we deal with the challenging things, and I don't make that somebody else's problem who has no skin in that game, right? And most people that are suffering, that are deeply suffering, haven't learned that skill set or weren't naturally born with that skill set available to them. And a lot of people operate from the philosophy of the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So they would rather tell their own cyclical sob stories instead of doing the thing that's challenging to do and move forward with it. So, once you realize that like a lot of people operate from that place, your solitude becomes a lot more enjoyable than like, oh, there's something wrong with me. Like I have, one of my friends is in Brooklyn, another friend, a couple friends in New Jersey. One of my other best friends is all the way down in Charlotte, North Carolina. And like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not a person that enjoys being around somebody or having people that are like always involved. I like, in my close personal space, I want people that have their own thing going on. And like they fill me in on all the exciting things that are going on in their life that like I didn't have to bring them to on my own, not to say that, I don't have friends of all varying places, but like I don't enjoy being around people that require a lot of heavy lifting. Then you're a client, you're not a friend. And if you can't pay me, then that's okay. But a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but it's also like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. Like, all right, I don't enjoy smoke and mirrors. Like I'm not, we're burned by that in the spiritual community. And it's there's a gracious way to say it too. But some people, like, I'll intentionally say it more abrasive because I don't want them to book with me even if they had the money to do it. Depends on the person, depends on the day. Yeah, also letting the right people find me when they do, I get it, yes, exactly. And that's a good thing, take time for Aquarius placements. Yeah, exactly. When someone says we shouldn't say that. Exactly. Sometimes it's like, sometimes I'm saying things and I wish I could put the words back into my mouth, But I'm like, whatever, it's out there. I'll deal with the fallout. That's my silly human moment. But I don't know. I just like, I take the things that I can control very seriously. But like, just like this live earlier today, someone who's like asking me to marry them or saying something crazy in a comment online, from their iPhone, laying in clothes that they haven't change out of in 4 days, you know, like I'm not gonna be that offended by that. Okay, like glad I could, you know, we engaged in this moment in time, but you know, it's like knowing how to evaluate people and understand the bucket that they fall into in your life. Yeah, that literally just happened before. My Aries moon. It's also a very Pisces thing to use very specific visual examples to prove a point in a joke or in a description. The perfect example of this that solidified this for me is the guy Joe from the Basement Yard podcast. And I forgot, he was like talking about somebody. He was like, he looks like a something cigarette. Like, it's just, and I know that he's a Pisces, and I was like, oh, that's so funny. Like, I've always done that. And my grandparents on my dad's side were very much so like, I had, how many? 7 great aunts and uncles on that side, and they all explain things that way. I think it's a very Irish thing. But I noticed that with a lot of Pisces placements too. I need you to really understand who I'm talking about, you know? My Aries, that's my words just burst out. Yes, the most tense times too. Well, yeah, because usually it's just like it's like you're learning how to, wherever we have Aries, right? Because everyone has a house that Aries is in, is where we're learning things for the first time. Like how to figure out, like, we're almost like getting our sea legs in that area of our chart. So, you know, when your moon is in that place, it's like I had somebody that was it was an Aries moon here, and for like the 4th time she was like talking about the same goddamn placement in her chart. You know, it sent me messages about it, booked calls about it, and like just really wanted me to confirm the victim mentality that she had about that. And I literally in the middle of the live was like, don't piss me off. Like, you know, if you want to be a victim of your chart, have at it, but like, I'll be damned if I let another woman with an already successful business in her mid-30s tell me that like this gate 40 whatever, that's in like a non-consequential part. Like, yes, it's there. If you want to be alone, gate 40 things, then just say you want to be alone, but don't blame it on your chart, you know? And so like, those types of things I have no patience for. And because she was an Aries moon, she was like, it was immediately an unfollow, and I was just like, good, then like goodbye. Like, I don't want to talk about this for the 4th fucking time. Like, you know, go to therapy, get a reading, and then deal with it in your day-to-day life. But I have no, like that, and time was, like, I would see it happening in a live, like when I first started live here, and I would let that shit happen, and then I was like, oh my god, I cannot, you're an insufferable wench, like, get away from me. So let go or be dragged. And I'm in the dragging part of my category right now. I'm like, no, yes, exactly. I get it for sure by telling yes. So what if Aries is my rising and Saturn? Like just in general, like asking about a description of the placement. I mean, Saturn on your rising is like really having people thinking that you're more serious. They probably don't really understand when you're joking either. Like they're afraid to laugh. I think especially in coaching too. They don't know, like they're afraid. It reminds me of the quote, like they're afraid of how much they love you. Yeah, like just like delayed gratification, taking time. Yes, exactly. And you listen, like there are plenty, like I know yesterday in my workout class, there are plenty of micro expressions that I had. Cause I just like, so there's things that I like class etiquette. Like I'm very big on like, there is just a way that things happen to be considerate of the people around you. And in my workout studio, there's a glass mirror. There's only 2 glass mirrors on the wall. The other 2, it's a bar studio. So there's like bars. It's like a dance fusion type of Pilates class. And when somebody comes in and they sit in the front and there's only like 4 people in the class yesterday, and they sit directly in front of, I go to the back wall all the time because I like distance and seeing myself in the mirror instead of being up to the mirror. And they sit down right in front of where I am in the studio. Like those types of things that are lack of consideration. And like if I've obviously moved over, right, and they watch me move over because there's only 2 people, you know, next to us in the class. Like I know that you've acknowledged me like moving over. I'm not gonna like throw, you know, nasty eyes at her, but I'm just gonna move and say like, okay, I know people are like incredibly dysregulated and have, you know, maybe it's her 2nd class. I don't know what's happening, but I know that I'm also allowed to be annoyed about like me not being able to see myself in the mirror. And this is the little shit that like, this is the things that we have to use to practice our astrology and our human design. And, you know, just the excessive, then like the whole class, like the excessive grunting and groaning and, you know, all those types of things. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be judgmental. I have a judgment about this, but I'm not going to like also make how this is affecting me that person's problem, because I'm also in a group workout class in public, right? So it's like always having to do those like little checks and balances of our energy and time and regulation, and like, oh, like, you know, just figuring out how to, you know, not make mountains out of molehills, or, you know, mountains out of micro expressions in the day to day. And I think it's also just a Saturn ruled person thing. Like I've learned, so if there's people that appear to be older in age but not of mentality, it's frustrating for a lot of people with a lot of Saturn, like myself, right? And that's a lot of my Aquarius too. It's like the know-it-all part of my placements. And like, unfortunately, I do know a lot because like I've had to do a lot of fucking shit myself, and I still don't make it always other people's problem. So, you know, it's that Saturn on your Aries rising is like contradictory in and of itself. It's like wanting to go fast but not being allowed to, and like knowing that there's always going to be an inner tension of like, the more disciplined you become in owning your reactions to things and focusing on responding instead of reacting, the more magnetic and attractive you become to other people. And not even just through like, it's a lot of like playing with your composure and really waiting for the right time for people to see the anger when it's appropriate, because then they know it's real. But as an Aries person, and I find this with a lot of Aries and a lot of like placements that usually have impulsive traits and tendencies, it starts to become a boy who cried wolf situation. If you're mad about everything, I am going to disengage and then trust that you don't know how to use your emotions appropriately to let me know when I actually have to be worried about what you're saying I have to be worried about. It's like, you remember like the kid in elementary school that always came in with a cast or crutches on? You know, like they always had something broken, or like some brace from, you know, CVS. It's like that, like, okay, so when there's actually something medically wrong with you, I'm not going to know because you do this shit all the time. You know, like when we were in high school, we understood it somewhat. We learned that lesson then. But like once we get older, it's like, so having to work with your anger is usually a big part of Aries placements too. Yeah, I just described what it's felt like for me with the Saturn and Aries transit. Yes, absolutely. It's just like learning when to be, like if you're hyped up and upset and everything comes back to the same problem, that's valid, but like be aware of how relevant it is in those spaces, right? And it's like, I think I've been rewatching Gilmore Girls, and how, you know, Emily and Richard, who are Lorelai, the mom, Rory's grandparents, Lorelai's parents, like you see people that are in that traditional, I'm trying to find the right way to describe it, like in those traditional roles, and like people like me, you know, that have my placements, that have a lot of that Mars energy, that like don't like, you know, fakeness. I had to learn the difference between people being fake and also compartmentalizing for when the timing was right to talk about things in the place and the time that they deserve to be talked about, so that we could either resolve the issue. And there's a lot of people in my life that I had dealt with that would want to talk about things in a time and a place because they wanted to placate the issue and still have access to me instead of taking ownership. And I needed to relearn or learn how to like know when it was a time and a place for something. And just because somebody didn't want to talk about something in that immediate moment and resolve it didn't mean that they were like just trying to wait for another time, right? And so that's been like a big lesson in like during my Saturn return, even like nodal return, nodal oppositions, like, yeah, like noticing a lot of that, which I think is helpful data for any Aries or Scorpio placements, because even though we're modern ruler is Pluto, our traditional ruler of Scorpio is Mars. So yeah, thank you, Q. But yeah, it's challenging. I think it's like, you know, Saturn and Aries transit, right? Or when you have Saturn and Aries and all of that, or Saturn transiting your Aries placements, it's like you have your football gear on, ready to go, but know that like you're at practice right now. It's not necessarily game time when it matters. And then what happens is you burn yourself out and misplace where that energy is supposed to go. So it takes time to learn, but if you're willing to learn it, you can manage it in a much better way. Learn how to alchemize it, learn how to figure it out. Hi, Afro, how are you? But yeah, so just a couple things I could think about. I mean, for me, like I have Saturn transiting my third house. So house of siblings, that's also come up a little bit, but also communication. And I do talk really fast, but also knowing like when is an appropriate moment for me to slow down. I'm doing good, right? Like figuring out that balance. Not really caring about if people can't keep up with what I'm saying. It physically pains me to slow down. Mars on my ascendant. So playing with that interplay of like, okay, this transit is maybe gonna make me, it hasn't made me slower to speak up about things. I still think I'm pretty quick in that way, but I remains to be seen the other ways that it affects it. I maybe have to look at some of the more, like the minutia of the third house. Hi, KR. Minutia of the third house energies to understand like the nuances there. Yeah, exactly. Right, because I think essentially, again, with Aries placements, it's like if everything is it's like catastrophization is the vocabulary word. Like if everything's a catastrophe, then like when something actually is wrong, people don't know how to take you seriously. But again, as you get older, it's different. And we're just looking at two aspects of your chart where your other aspects of your chart or placements may be very well balanced where you don't, like it doesn't affect you or isn't as obvious as it is for other people. But I think like, a Saturn and Aries transit in the first house as an Aries rising is just making you slow down, and the thing that kept coming to me, not even in this live, but yesterday or the day before yesterday when I was driving, was good things take time. Good things take time. And that's been a repeated theme that I had to come back to as a Saturn ruled person. Yeah, so I fight a lot of what I think we're fighting in general is instant gratification. What a lot of Gen Zers are struggling with is instant. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And being like, okay, good things in my life take time. What am I slowing down for? And then you realize that like when you slow down, the time goes so fucking fast anyway. Uranus and Gemini, especially now, that it's like I'll be doing things for 10 hours and I'm like, I feel like I just started this task, but I'm more intentional about what happens within that. Oh, hi Nura, I love you too. Oh, I'm so glad. This is my like I feel like I'm like after my shift at the restaurant, like on the crate in the back and having my nightly cig. I don't do any of those things anymore, but that kind of like time. Yeah, I'm so excited for you, Noda. I'm so excited for like, I mean, everything is just blossoming in such a beautiful way for you. Like, it is just, this is the beginning of the rest of your life, like truly, I feel like watching you and you're unfolding, is like this beautiful, like, just a really beautiful journey that I think I can speak to, understanding that as a kid you didn't know was possible, right? And like how many people, like what you posted yesterday about just like representation in your space too, and how important that is for people. Yeah, exactly. It's like good things take time and the good times are already here, but you took the time to do it, like it's those seeds that you planted that you didn't dig up 3 days later. I love that. You're the knowledge. Straight edge, what are we talking about? We were talking about astrology, mainly, the Saturn and Aries transit. Mutual reception to help with regulation, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, and I think that there's also like in that space, like the fear of judgment of like, well, why do we need to call it that? I was just talking about this with one of my friends that lives in the city that's gay. And you know, like fighting the labels or the judgments that people have on labels, and that not every label is bad. Like there's this like requires so much more depth of conversation that I have like full capacity to put my brain cells together for, because I've been talking for 2 hours, but I know you understand. Yeah, I think it's beautiful how you give support and want to see other people. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing that's ours can ever be taken away by somebody else. Like, yeah, I see things like, I was talking about this with my husband yesterday about The Social Network, and how, I'll say Jesse Eisenberg, because he played you-know-who in the movie The Social Network, how he found a legal loophole to write his partner out of F-book so that he got all of the, rights to it. And I'm like, if I were his partner, like his friend, his friend and business partner, and seeing what it became, I would feel relieved. Like, you think that man has any control, Jesse Eisenberg, over his own life anymore? Like, with great power comes great responsibility. Like, I probably would have cashed out. And, I value just seeing the reality of the world that we live in now, and knowing that, like, my reality isn't always reality of others in this world at the same time. Like, I value my solitude a lot. Like, I value peace a lot. Yeah, exactly, yeah. You have to enjoy your time. No time is earned. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, just, like, like, that's what gratitude, like, I've realized how many layers there are to gratitude, and how, like, what I thought and how I practice gratitude, and you're one of me really knowing what gratitude is. Hi, Mia, hello, is different from, Brenna in early 30s, how she perceives gratitude or how she practices gratitude. And I kind of feel like I'm at that point in my spirituality where it's like it's like the Ben Affleck meme, but I'm not, like, where he's like outside, like, with his pack and enjoying his time, or not enjoying his time in the visual, but like, the spiritual starter pack where, like, you eventually don't need any tool. You just have them, like, ingrained in your mind, because that's how you practice. And, less is more. And that's a really nice place to be too, where it's like everything is a bonus, but we always have everything we need, and everything we buy, everything that we earn is just an extra added bonus. Because to me, like, especially with delayed gratification and good things take time, it was like my peace that I learned how to earn back. I do, yes. If you want to send me an email about it, Noda, I could do that, to send you the little outline for that. I just sent it to somebody else actually the other day. To just let me know, like, what you were looking for. But if you wanted to, I'm building out the rest of my slide decks for doing, like, a variation of, I don't know, like, whether they call it a certification program, because you don't really need to be certified. You just have to spend time learning and then practicing after the learning happens. And I condensed, I created the teaching that I wish I had, because I had to go to a lot of different sources to find my hi Brad, to find the way that I knew that other people needed to learn. And it not being so dry. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, send me an email, and then we'll talk about getting a schedule set up for you. Hi Karan, how are you? So for my Saturday lives, Mia, I'm working, it's more work, less chat, on these ones. So the horizontal streams are always, people are usually on their phone for vertical streams on YouTube. So, and I'm talking more on TikTok. So I'm on, dual streaming. So that's why there's usually not as many people here. Excuse me. But it's funny, because then on my right hand side I have 54 people, but it's like my apps will flip flop. But yeah, I'd love to. I'm gonna do my emails in a few minutes too. I'm gonna get a late lunch, early dinner. Hello, Steph. Late lunch, early dinner, and then I'll do my emails. So I'll keep an eye out for it. But I'm doing well. Happy weekend. Yes. We are talking about the Saturn and Aries transit. I'm so fast, I know. That's always the $1 million. I'm actually speaking very slow for me right now because my voice is starting to get hoarse with my allergies. It's a lot. Taurus season things. Slowing down always is because I have a Taurus fourth house, so slowing down is always a theme. Like it's interesting. I noticed with gate 5 things, like with the rhythm of the seasons of the year, that every other astrological season is more of an introverted season for me. So I'm like more extroverted in Aries season, more introverted in Taurus, extroverted in Gemini, more introverted in Cancer, like that kind of like back and forth, which is nice. I have a couple things that are more extroverty that I'm doing this month, but actually no, I'm doing one event in person and it's May 24th, so it won't even be Taurus season anymore. Yes, enjoy your food. Thank you, King Piscean. Yes, I love the element we've created here together. It's crazy. I have to go back and see if I can find like the first video that I posted ever about human design and what it even was about on TikTok, because I was posting on IG beforehand, but yeah, it's been 3 years that I've been on this app more so, and it feels longer. Like I feel like the 3 years that I've been here, I've had so many evolutions of self that, like when you guys met me 3 years ago, there's some things that are similar. Hi R. There's some things that are similar in red threads, but like the evolution is nice to see. And a lot of like generators and man gens. Yes, I do. I know. I'm watching out for the unexpected pregnancy. That I was like, okay, understood. But yes, but it's funny because I have had like random people that were asking me, not even like, oh, are you guys planning for children? Like people who don't even know that I'm married are like, oh, are you like gonna get pregnant, or like, do you have kids? Are you pregnant yet? I'm like, that's so, like, it's so on the nose of the transit, you can't even make it up. I feel like I'm in that millennial boat where it's like, oh my God, like, well, I'm like, yes, of course we're, in a loving marriage and, are settled in a lot of ways, but it's still like, it's just funny how no one has ever asked me that question before. I know I've gotten that question so much, or just if I have children at all. People that I meet that are new and are wanting to get to know me more. But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, creative ideas. It's interesting because I'm like, I feel like it hasn't fully hit me yet, like in terms of creative ideas, or, of course I have my, mannequin behind me, but I'm like, maybe I've set that up because it'll become more relevant in, couple months or something like that. I don't know, but I'll be curious to see how the levels. I always am like excuse me, the level of like drama, yet romance that can also come from 5th house things. A couple people have mentioned like, oh, you should write a book. So book writing, I've been reading a lot more than I ever have in my recent adult life, so I'm playing with the energy. I feel like I've more so been focused on Pluto being in my 12th before I feel that interplay. So I'll be curious to see how I navigate, like if that'll shift once it moves. So I have to see like when Uranus moves into my 6th and Pluto is in my 1st, if that changes things also. So I feel like it's very Uranus and Gemini for me to be like, la 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 la, figure it out when I have to. Like, I don't want to listen to it right now. Like I'm just gonna have fun. But I don't know. I think coming out of my Saturn return has like aged my spirit in a good way, or matured it, like a good cheese or something like that. Where I'm like what I was saying to you, Anna, earlier in your reading, like I'm not, like, even when things happen, I'm not afraid about where I'm going to look for them. But what was funny, and I can tell you guys this now, is that as this has started, something I actually got a random DM from a casting director of a game show that wanted me to be on a game show that's being filmed now in Ireland, and I didn't get cast on the show. It's a show that's on Hulu. I don't know if I have to look at the contract because I don't know if I'm like actually legally allowed to say. So but it's like it was just funny, like a random, I know, right? Like a random game show. There's a couple people that have reached out to me. Would acting or career expression with communication eccentrically be a possibility? That it is true. Yeah, I think so. I mean, there was a show that was getting cast that I saw from the couple of casting directors that reached out to me that was like a psychic game show that they were doing. But after, I was just like, I don't really feel like, I like being a spiritual person. I don't like to be around people that are spiritually performative for attention. And a game show that has that is going to be like I wouldn't be surprised if Mystical Rebels was like on that show. You know what I mean? But like just because he can like be a good boil on the ass of any game show that he's in. You know, like that kind of like personality. And so it's like you have to remember that like there's also, even within reality TV, you're looking at a character, like you know, like, oh, that person's a character, but like it's still, there's still a level of curation that happens in those roles. And I always am like, okay, what's the balance of I think the boundaries for me have to be more clear for things like that. Like either I'm a contestant on a game show or like I'm acting in a Netflix series where my character is eccentric based on real life, right? Like I don't think I could do the like in between, but I have no problem like being on camera, you know, acting in a role. I thought about like taking acting classes or something like that, like just to, you know, test it out. I mean, so much of like where I grew up is like turning into Netflix studios and, you know, like filming, like so many of my friends that still live in town, like childhood friends are posting on Facebook about like, oh, this is popping up for a show with Adam Driver and like, you know, Kerry Washington is in this area. So it's kind of crazy. One of the shows with Matt, I really want to watch it. It's something Bay. I really liked his acting. And the first time I remember seeing him was in the show The Beast in Me on Netflix. So it's like random things like that are, you know, or being an extra in a show, like doing some random extra gig like that. I think this is the time where I'm like wanting to try all those things that like I have the time and the capacity to do that. Even for people who do. Oh, I love that Boyhood. That's so funny. Wait, you have to find your minute marker so I can find you. I know him. Yeah, it was super cool. It's right. Even the opportunity, it opened my eyes to something that I was like, oh, I didn't even know people were looking at me for things like that. But yeah, so I'm curious to see how it unfolds and where the wind takes me. You know, yes, please do. I love that. Yeah, I could never. I need my time away from the cameras. It's true. Like I think that it's playing with that balance of like with you know, our Aquarius, Leo, Cancer, Sagittarius placements, like those four are always having to work with levels of attention. It's true. Yeah, you worked with talent before, maybe hearing things from them or them wanting to collab. That would be interesting. It was funny because so actually my friend that basically got me to work as a curator of his gallery and coffee shop for free, I gave him and one of the artists that I was managing at the time the idea to do a tattoo pop-up in a gallery, and they literally just implemented on the idea like this week, and I was like, oh, like the, you know, another, it's just like they both give me the ick. It's like super performative, like want to be like Daniel Arsham, like but it's like, you know, do they actually, if you want to be like cool guy that rides a motorcycle, you know, like and owns a gallery, like congratulations, like, you know, like that happens a lot as somebody with 1/8 channel of inspiration. Like I've underwritten a lot of ideas, but I also have other things in my life that have given me fulfillment, but like I don't give away, like nothing I say online is ever something that I've multiple people that I've had even on lives that like I've said something and they go and implement an idea, or people who are like follow me. Like there's one girl that like there was a guy named Antoine that's an astrologer on here, and I think it's Antoine, and he always wears a head wrap of some sort and like veils, and there was some viral thing that happened in the astrology community, and there's like this grifter, like I don't know if grifter is the word, but like just like the people who are like really desperate to be liked by the people that they see that are the powerful players, and it's that theme that I'm always noticing, like they're never gonna have the confidence, and they may do pretty well, like the person I'm talking about does have like a decent following, but it's like the numbers don't matter because it's an empty win. Shysters, yeah, it's an empty win. And she followed me twice, and I constantly am like removing her as a follower. Not constantly, but the 2 times I removed her as a follower, because I'm like, you only started talking about human design once you showed up in my comments, and like when I didn't want to be your friend, or like wouldn't want to like be a mutual or like engage with you, you just literally binge watch all my videos and then use my languaging to talk about it. But like that, I've always had something like that happen. You know, like it just, even down to like kids copying my paper at school. I remember somebody trying to like look at my Scantron during my like final in college. So it's like I say that not to be like, look at how many people want to copy me, but it's like because I know that a lot of you guys also have experienced the same thing. You know, I don't. Yeah, just being leery of people like that, and it's like I feel sorry for them because I know where it comes from. You know, like it's like a very empty place, and like to do that so loudly and not realize how loudly you're doing it, I think is embarrassing, but also like just sad. So I don't know. Those are the type of people that would like be like, oh my god, like I would love to, you know, they would whore themselves out to be on a spiritual game show. But I was like, yeah, I think it's like choosing the right opportunity and knowing like I think I was saying this last week, like somebody who really wants to be known as a surgeon, but like they really don't enjoy all of the layers of the process that like once you see the reality of what it takes to be a surgeon, like they realize they hate it, but they keep doing, instead of like trying something new and like something that they actually enjoy, they will stay stuck in that. You know, they're taking somebody else's space who actually should be there too. There's a lot of that going on. I'm going on in a couple different tangents, but yeah, just some cliff notes of things like that. But cool opportunities. I'm definitely excited to see like the creative part. But as somebody who's always been pretty creative, I think it's a matter of not forcing the creativity to happen. Yeah, unconscious 2946. That's true. I just see like, yeah, like what are the traditional coattail rider placements? In my experience with gate 29 people, I see it more so with like they say yes to people who out of a people pleasing place, excuse me, not like a hi Adonis, not a, it's honestly a lot of Gemini and Libra placements that I've seen. Sometimes Sag, depending on the balances, right? Like that will say yes to something just because of how it makes them look cool or how they think about other people perceiving them. And I just think it's really obvious when people do that. Like it's like people who buy designer clothes because they want people to see that like the logo on their body versus like going to a vintage store and like choosing clothes that they really enjoy, like keeping up with appearances, you know. But it's like, and that's like what placements aside, it's like secure versus insecure people at its like the distillation of that character trait. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in your 20s, absolutely. And I think that's normal. Like we're in our 20s, we're all supposed to be finding out like who we are, what we like, and we don't know unless we try out other things, right, that other people are doing or enjoy, especially if you don't have people that have been like good role models for you in your life. So that also can affect things. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's a couple people that'll still creep up in a live every now and again that are like, oh my god, hi, like my bestie, like and I'm like, you don't actually give a fuck about me. You just want me to follow you back because you like what's going on here and want the same type of following. and that's just like exhausting to be. It's like, okay, like we come to spirituality to find what makes us interesting, not to like just be a shyster, whatever you had said earlier. Amber, what do you think of quad rights? So I'm a quad left person, so it can be difficult for me to, more so personally, to navigate with my quad right people. Yeah. Because I'm way too structured for you guys. You're too loosey-goosey for me. So, but I know that and I can respect it because like I'm not gonna change you to see my side. I do find though that like when a quad right person wants something for me and I don't give it to them when they want it, they can be like really immature. But that's not always the case, right? It's like people who are unaware of that. So it's like why do you it's the same difference I see in gate 15 people. I'm glad. It's the same difference I see in gate 15 people versus gate 5 people as a gate 5 person. Like gate 15 people have the gate of extreme. So like they're too, for the most part, they're way too, they change their mind too much for me and it's very unsatisfying and stressful. Whereas like for me, like they're like, they look at me and they're like, why are you so like regimented? And I'm like, either you get it or you get it. Like if you get it, you get it, you don't, and that's okay. But I don't like, I have a reaction to it because I have an undefined root chakra. I'm 132. Okay, splenic solar plexus projector. I always get confused when people put SPP. I never know if some people have used it for solar plexus. Other people use it for splenic. I'm assuming solar plexus though. But yeah, it just depends on my, yeah, exactly. Like certain things, it's interesting because it's a south node, right? So figuring out that energy. I think I was here earlier to bridge the understanding of you to me's and all the other autists to come. I don't know what you mean. To come, wait, what do you do when you said that he should go? It's like that Adele meme. So Amber, you were here to bridge the understanding of you to me. Self-projected. Okay, so a third one has been added to the mix. Yes, self-projected. I haven't been on. I mean, I don't think you were here in my live earlier. You mean another live? I'm just trying to understand. Or artists or autists, like autistic people? Because usually I'm pretty good at people understanding me. It's very rare that somebody doesn't understand what I'm saying. But I was like, maybe to a certain demographic of people. No, I meant in the world. Like you needed to translate me to other people? Or to autistic people. Was there somebody that was autistic that was here in a previous live? I find it's interesting. I find like there's definitely certain characteristics of people that can fall. I almost feel like as a 1-3 end projectors that can. Oh, you're super eloquent and easy to understand. I meant in general, and now I'm excited and thinking faster. I understand. I was like, wait, how do I decode this? It happened a couple times today. I'm like, let me this is a helpful Saturn in the 3rd house. Like, let me take the time to understand. Sometimes over the phone, it's hard to understand. And then also being autistic, like knowing like the, like flappy hands keyboard excitement too. And having like time for that as well. I have a couple people in my life that I know that are like that too. But yeah, I think as a 1-3 also, I mean, there's so many things. A self-projected too, hearing yourself like talk out loud. And it's interesting because I think about like if we were to create a parallel between autistic people that would be like self-projected projectors, like info dumping city, right? Like if there were ever like the reason that autistic people get like pushed into info dumping, it would be a self-projected projector. Oh wow, yeah, I have a single definition, G center to throat. A lot of older artistic people. Yes, you're like you are the leader of all boomers that have a special hobby in their basement that they hyper focus on getting every detail right, like the mentor of train loving boomers, like that kind of energy too. My dad is similar. He's like, my dad has, our charts look so similar. I was showing Anna my dad's chart, but he is all of his stellium. A lot of his stelliums are in, or stellium is in Virgo, which correlates too. Yeah, but there are autistic people like my dad who are very left like you. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm always like, it's interesting. So I have a brother that, hi Tupac, Berluna, I love that, that has borderline personality disorder. And I'm always leery of, because I also attract people, not that autistic is like mentally ill, but I do attract, because of my Scorpio, a lot of people that are like in the mental health world in some capacity. So I'm cautious with immediately diagnosing or using a word that comes from the DSM-5 to like hyper link to human design. Scorpio sun, there you go. Hyperlink to a placement in human design or astrology, because I don't know if you were on spiritual TikTok in the early 2000s, Amber, but there was a lot of damage that was done. And most recently, I think the one that we all remember is that lady Kendra, who said that her therapist had fallen in love with her, and she had, I don't know if it was histrionic personality disorder, but some variation of a personality disorder that she was also using human design. Cap rising, there you go. Saturn and Aries in 6th. Oh, wow. And we have Saturn and Aries right now. So you're going through your Saturn return. That makes sense because you're late 20s. Yes, conjunct Mercury and Aries. Yeah. I was just talking about how it's like slow and steady wins the race. Good things take time. Yeah, there's so much incorrection, but not from me. And I would say lovingly, this is also an autistic trait of people who have autism, that because something can be their special interest, they think that they know everything, even if they haven't spent time properly educating themselves in the subject. So, no, I know. It's just good to, I always am looking at the nuance, because I know that you know that, but I also, my Aquarius in me is like, how does this make sense to the room of the 58 people that are in here right now? Because not everybody is going to be able to read between the energetic lines of your comments at the same time. And yeah, I think it's like there is a woman that I've been volunteering with that is ruffling some feathers at the volunteer clinic that I'm in. Yes. And she like is trying to match the energy of the directors of the space that she's in, and is insecure in just being a member of a team. And just in analyzing her in the few interactions that I've had, I'm like, okay, this is somebody that always had to be ready for adultier things, because she was, you know, she had to be responsible for things before she was ready. And so it takes time to learn. Like, I think if you, depending on what your goals are, Amber, right, with human design and things like that, like assessing like the energetic etiquette of knowing the spaces that you're in, and taking the time to think about like how to inform in the right place in the right time, especially as a 1-3, like I know that if we were in the same room together, I would literally have to say, I love you, Amber, but like I need to be quiet right now. Like, that's as a social introvert that I am. Like, I'm 2.5 hours deep into my live, and like, having those moments of understanding, because in these spaces, right, like it's social media where we're all clunky members of community together. And with Pluto and Aquarius, it's learning our role, and know that like community comes at the cost of inconvenience. So like having to have the clunky conversations and learning and making the oopsies and learning to understand each other, and knowing that people's hearts are pure. But if there's not somebody to help decode this is very like ninth house perfection year of me to like help decode and translate for people, like it can get messy very quickly. So I'm always like trying to be, you know, in my ninth house perfection year, a diplomat of sorts, or helping people to understand and read between the lines. I also meant earlier in this live by the prediction that all people born after 2027. Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Will be rave in all quadrites. I didn't see any comments from you earlier, so that's what I was confused by, and trying to understand like what you were sharing and why. Hi, Lisa. Turning 27 in about a week. Happy early birthday. There was something else I wanted to answer that, so when Uranus entered Gemini, being in my 12th house, I literally started thinking about immigration. That's so funny. There you go. Yeah. I'm turning 27 in about a week. What is Saturn return actually? Okay, so Saturn return is literally Saturn returning to the place that it was orbiting at the time you were born. So you were born when the planet Saturn was in Aries, and it's returning to the place that it was in, which happens like its orbit in the solar system. It takes it about 27 years to orbit the solar system. So there's a, you know, come to Jesus moment, so to speak, or a come back to self moment of understanding, where you have to get more discipline. Saturn is the archetype of the disciplinarian, of the father, having to really like get your stuff together. But it doesn't mean, you realize that like getting your stuff together is a messy process, and what you thought it meant to get your stuff together in reality is very different. It's not like you go to a private school and you go to Yale and you get a law degree, and like that's what it means in the context of your family to have your stuff together, is to become, you know, an Ivy League graduate lawyer. Like what you need to do to have your ducks in a row in your Saturn return is very different. Like we all have a different lesson that we learn in our Saturn return. That's about, like, for me it was more so like how to value my time and my resources, and my time being the most valuable resource I have, and myself, you know, like who gets what variation of me. I have people that message me all the time that are like, excuse me, like I want to talk, like let's text, and I'm like, I'm not a texter. Like I don't even text my husband when I'm not in the house, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, I don't love copious amounts of human interaction, and that can be confusing to some people. It's like they don't believe that someone can be like friendly and open but also be introverted. Like they're like, what is this specimen? Like that's not, I don't want that from you. I want extroversion. And so, you know, that was my lesson. Your lessons are going to be different. A lot of like Saturn and Aries generation, it's like you guys are learning instant gratification and working with instant gratification at the same time. I would also be curious though to know the degree of your Saturn placement, and that you can get from astroseek.com. Hi, Pinky. Yeah, I hate that my additions interrupt your flow. Yes, well that's where I'm like, my goal is to teach you lovingly that your energy is like, I'm politely setting a boundary, right, Amber? So it's like, what is that, the self-projected projector, if because I know this about your personality, right? It's coming into somebody's space and rapid firing and like kind of like, it's like when you walk into a room, right? If you walk into a classroom or a library that's quiet, there are people that will continue their outside voice inside the library. And it's important that if you want to be a member of a community and be in spaces, that you don't kick down the door to the library and still talk with your outside voice. It's like taking a second to pause and say, like, how do I, you know, enter the room and give myself a moment of transitory peace, or, you know, like grounded interaction with the space that I'm in. And, you know, you could do that, people can choose not to do that. But for my spaces, I'm always like, let's take a breath to be considerate of the community. I have three planets. I'm an Aquarius rising, right? Pisces sun. So I'm at all my planets are mostly pushed to the end of the zodiac, where I'm considerate of all people. So it's like, read the room is the not as much nice way to say it, but not everybody has that level of patience to think about how to word it in a kind way, right? So taking the time to just say, like, if you, as a self-projected projector, like, projectors so quickly want to feel sorry for themselves when they're not welcomed in, because they're so desperate for that invitation that they never received. But it's like not making the previous parties you weren't invited to the current people in your life's problem. So if you want to align with people that are more aligned to you, you have to figure out how to enter into their space in a way that's complementary. And not to say that you can't have differences and be your own person, but it's like, how do we work well together in this space? You know, I'm very big on like for example, when I first started lives, I've always been strict with if I'm reading for somebody, that person only paid for me to read and consent to reading that person. Somebody else jumping in and answering, you know, and adding their 2 cents into somebody else's reading is incredibly rude and disrespectful to not only the client, but also to me as a practitioner. And just to me, right, says that that person is just wanting to be in the same position, but hasn't done what they've had to do to get on live themselves, right? So it's like those kinds of things that happen in the spiritual space that, like, in an effort to give people an opportunity to change their tone, or to, if projectors want to have the recognition, right? It's a matter of, like, you know, talking with somebody. And a lot of autistic people, it gives the energy of talking at somebody, not with someone. And learning the difference between, you don't have to mask, but also know that, like, in community, it also requires a different percentage of your personality. As an autistic person, you know, it's a different way that your personality works, and other people having to learn to have patience with that, to include you, but also you're not compromised, right? Like, you're aware of the things that are going on and are incredibly educated as an autistic person, as autistic people can be. So it's like, knowing enough to understand the groups that you're a part of, and if you want to be a member of a community, it helps more to have a conversation with somebody than just at them. And a lot of projectors can get themselves into that conundrum too. And there's a couple people I was thinking of as readers that have had issues with that recently, and blaming it on, you know, generators and manifesting generators, when they're really just upset that they don't have the energy to think strategically about how to present themselves as an authority, or want to lay down and just say, like, oh, well, I have to be invited. No, like, start, if you know and you're confident about what you're talking about, you don't have to be TikTok as a platform is inviting you to share content. Start making content. Don't wait and coattail ride in somebody else's comments, chatting up everybody else's, you know, engaged comment section just because you want to be seen as an expert. That's lazy, low-hanging fruit. It's like, you have to get realistic about being a projector that wants to get the recognition to teach people, let's say, about raves and human design, just to riff off your idea, and start posting, you know. And if you don't want to do that, then sorry, you know, like, that's, I had an older woman that was a projector that was commenting on a lot of my videos, and the only time she commented on my videos was to correct my language. That, you know, why are you so scared that your light is one they could take? That's not what I'm saying. I think this is like the issue is that I've now hit a tender point for you, so your reaction is retaliatory. So it's a backhanded question, where the next comment is usually like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. But I'm just trying to describe, it's not the light that's taken away, it's that, like, the energetic etiquette of taking the time to, like, realize that, like, the way that, like, you're not self-aware of the way that you come across. So, or, like, the way that your tone can be read in comments, right? So this is me trying to make an effort to include you, right? And now it's just nonsensical psychobabble. Like, it's not like, so no one else has commented, but there's still 51 people that are watching this whole thing transpire. So it's like, what is even happening anymore? Saturn is at 15 degrees. At this time, my career and financial situation is in ruins. What would you like to say about it? Career and financial situation is in ruins. I would say that what I said earlier to Dwadaki about being realistic about what role you're contributing in your financial situation. So like if you don't like your career, you know, when somebody's in like true financial struggle, like you have to start to take a look at why that is. Like, are you spending too frivolously? Are you spending money on things that you don't need? Are you in a lot of consumer debt? Right? It's getting really honest with yourself about like, can you afford the lifestyle that you're keeping up with, which usually leads me to believe that like with your career and your financial situation, like the career isn't matching the income, and the outcome isn't matching. Getting serious about what you do for career, day-to-day life is like having to really like let life be boring for a little while, or find fun in the things that you can do for free. So when most people want to find a new job to make themselves believe that that's going to take them out of bad financial habits. So when you have like, but it doesn't matter how, it's like people who win the lottery and they have millions of billions of dollars, and it doesn't matter like how much money they make, they have a spending problem and a saving problem. So I would encourage you to look at your spending habits and your saving habits, and to consider whether or not, because this is only a question that you can answer, not that I can't, like, am I looking for a new job because I will be diligent about putting myself in another better financial position? Or is it that, you know, I'm going to get this new job and I'm still going to spend the same way that I'm spending right now? That's good lead. Projector to pride projectors need to lead by their craft. Yeah, it's like I have 2 of my 3 channels are projector channels. So I always say, Deanna, that like the way that I do run a lot of my business is very projector-like anyway. I just have energy to pivot a little bit quicker, and I also know how to cap my research. Whereas like a lot of projectors will want to research their way out of implementation because they're afraid to be more physically tired doing the thing that they know that has to get done, and would rather, you know, ruminate over the details. You have a perfect balance of doing just enough research, but you also are an implementer. You still post, you're critically thinking in your daily conversations, but not everybody has that. So it's like, I feel that that's a big gift of how you'll be able to share with your projectors, like how to do projectors right and be able to have that in a good way. I think that it's weird with prideful projectors, like they can be very know-it-all like, and are just very like, there's nothing more unattractive to me than a bitter projector. It's like very uncomfortable for everybody, and it sucks the oxygen out of a room. So it's like you can just feel the resentment seething off of them when like somebody else is getting or has what they want. And it's like, oh, like they're not, that can be true of any energy type. It's not just reserved for projectors, but projectors project outward, right? Like you're the archetype of a literal projector in a lot of ways. So it's like you've thrown up at somebody else's shoes and it's splattered on their shoes. And like people are like, oh, like I don't want to be a part of that. So it's like that quiet confidence. The perfect way that I always explain it is that like when it's Christmas time, and Merry Christmas, like, and it's the influence of Christmas, like you have like warm string lights, there's a fire going, there's stockings that are, you know, like really cute stockings on the mantle place, like there's you know, like red and green plaid, you know, decor like that, Christmas trees, things along those lines up. It's that aesthetic of Christmas that makes it more warm. But like, unless it can't be done well, when you go into somebody's home and everything says Merry Christmas everywhere, it's like corny, right? It's like, it's not as like enveloping you into the aura of a projector. And so it's like, okay, we get it. It's Christmas. Like, chill the fuck out. Like that. It's like that. And it's not chilling the fuck out and saying that to, you know, kick somebody while they're excited, but it's a like, hey, like, give space for other people to talk in conversation in a setting that is, it's social media. Like, there's multiple people here in a space. It's not just about you at this one point in time, right? It's like situational awareness that like doesn't always exist across every energy type, but I notice it the most in projectors because they want to make themselves known, but they don't always do it in the right way. And I use a lot of my talent management experience to train and mentor the same way. My biggest problem killing my career is I've zero consistency, patience, and can't fix my mind on anything. I have no interest in traditional careers, don't know what to do. I'm so perplexed. I mean, the biggest thing that I did when I was 27 is like, I just chose human design and I was like, well, I'm going to go on this route and see how I do with it, because it's the thing that's the most interesting for me. I also wonder, because I don't know where you live, Tupac. I don't know if you're in the States or if you're overseas, because cultural pressure is also going to change your ability to feel goodbye, and I'll see you later. I'm going to head out too in the next 10 minutes. It was nice to see you. Thank you for booking a reading with me. Yeah, of course. Yeah, sounds about right. It's like, it knows that you need to go. My phone is also dying, so I need to charge it. But if you know that you have a consistency issue, it's like, you need to understand that there's a certain level of consistency in our earthbound world that we need to succeed. And people, like, I don't trust people that are bouncing around from 87 different topics and creating 85 new accounts to talk about their next business idea. I'm like, bitch, just let me know when you chose one. I don't need to hear like the back and the forth and the, you know, like the ping ponging of ideas that you're trying, right? Like, you should only get online like when there's something that, like, you've created a little bit more of a cohesive thought. For example, if content creation is the idea, just know that when it's messy, you can't be resentful about the fact that like people can't follow you when you're in the middle of your mess and they don't really know how to engage with you. Usually if you're perplexed, it's because you're not allowing yourself to take time to think about, hi Charlie, to think about what it is, how you can actually make your dreams a reality. Life is hard. You get to choose your hard. Do you choose the hard of going down the path of being self-employed? And is that something that you're more open to? Or are you choosing the path of, you know, it being challenging to work under somebody who's a complete idiot? You know, like that like doesn't know what they're doing and they take their job very seriously, but they, you know, there's somebody who, the worst person to work for is somebody who's accepted a manager position just for the pay and not because they actually are good at dealing with people. That's rough. But it happens because people need money to survive, you know? Thank you, Orion. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I would take the time to consider like what your real skills are and what are ones that need time to develop. Like, right, like being really good at poetry and writing, and let's say you want to be a writer one day, but you still haven't given yourself the time to get better at your craft. You haven't taken any writing workshops or done peer edited reviews of your manuscripts or anything along those lines. Then you know that like that's your next, you get a traditional job, right? And then do what you have to do to reach your goal. But it's like most people don't want to do the mundane and the hard stuff because it's not fun. That's why a lot of people also are attracted to working with modalities like this, because they want people like me to tell you like, well, if you just write these three things down 85 times and pray on it, then it'll happen, right? I have the same problem with variations of religion, organized religion, as I do with versions of astrologers too. Two sides of the same coin. They're not better than each other. So I would encourage you to understand, when you really take a good hard look at yourself, like, what is it that you're doing that's getting in your own way? So, and that also takes, like, a lot of people in the US especially don't like to admit the social status they were born into. I do find it a lot. Like, I've met a lot of you guys that are in India, right, or of Indian descent, and there's even more of a pressure about, like, social status, and a lot of people being very involved in what other people are doing, and, like, a lot of pressure on the family lineage that, like, as, like, a, you know, third generation American, I don't really have, nor have I cared what other people in my lineage or, like, family friends thought about me. Like, you know, they weren't entirely that impressive themselves. So it's like, knowing, like, where I knew that I came from a family that wasn't able to, you know, pay for my existence forever. I'm not a Nepo baby. I wasn't, you know, my dad did well, you know, my mom was able to be a stay-at-home mom, but probably shouldn't have been, because that put them in some financial issues now later on. But I say that because, you know, I could want to be a millionaire, but I have to understand that I don't have a millionaire in my family that I'm close enough with that I could go and talk to about how to be a millionaire, for example, right? So there are certain, you need to know, like, where you need to go to look for the information, and understanding, like, where are the blind spots of the people that are around you and where to go to find the information. And you have to care. No one's going to care about your situation more than you. I can help you. I can give you tools, but, like, that's why I was saying earlier, like, I cap my number of times that I will talk to a grown adult about the same thing. Eventually you have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired of where you're at to care enough about yourself to do the hard thing. And what each individual person defines as hard is going to be different. What my hard was, what my challenges have been, may be very different. I used to work from somebody whose hard was, you know, having a window crack from a stone that her landscaper accidentally weed whacked into her window of her, you know, $1.5 million home that she was building a third extension on. So, you know, different hard for my hard, a little bit, right? So, like, there's also a threshold of patience that people have for each other that I have for people, based on, like, whether they have grit or not. I don't really surround myself with gritless people for that reason too. Like, pretty much everybody they work with in a more intimate setting has a level of shit that's happened to them where, like, our grit is compatible. So, you know, I think that you're right in the cusp of generations, like, where there's a lot of people that like to find reasons and definitions and vocabulary words to feel sorry for themselves, or diagnose themselves with something, so that, because their diagnosis is the most interesting thing about them, and they don't want to, they'd rather have a diagnosis than put in effort, because, like, it's challenging to put in an effort, right? And then it's, again, a boy who cries wolf situation, where the people that actually need support don't get proper support, because people that want to have an issue but don't actually have one take up space. I've seen that firsthand many times. So I think you just have to get honest with yourself about what it is that is the hard that you're, you know, what's the easiest hard that you're willing to confront, and not feel sorry for yourself, because no one else is coming to save you. You know, I can help. There's other people that can help you along the way, but, you know, I had to go and find help and critically think about how to put my path together. Compatible grit, yes. Yeah, I didn't make my problems other people's problems. I just, you know, I went to therapy, you know, once a week for a year during the hardest periods of my life. And I realized that, you know, my lack of support at home wasn't anybody else's problem, but it was, you know, my under my control to fix it, and make educated attempts and guesses and some mistakes along the way, and who are the people that I needed to connect with or hire to help me get to the place that I knew that I was always, you know, meant to be or wanted to go. And I still do that. You know, it's just like you have to kiss a couple frogs to get to those places. But I think just being honest with yourself about what it is that you really want, and being unafraid to go there, and know that if you choose a creative arts practice, like, say you want to be a songwriter or performer, and you don't come from a wealthy family, then you either have to live very frugally and do a job in, like, an easy, mindless job, like food restaurant, waiter, bartender, and, you know, live frugally so that you have extra energy to pursue your goal in the days that you have off. Or, you know, you choose the hard, if you don't live in a family that comes from money, of working a traditional career temporarily for, you know, long-term gain, and learning how to, you know, it's momentary discomfort for long-term gain sometimes, and it's boring. And we say that, and we hear it from David Goggins and Jordan B. Peterson and Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins and Jen Sincero and me and whoever else is here. But it's like, it is true. Like, there's no, you know, at the end of the day, it's like you have to learn how to cultivate consistency and discipline enough, which is directly correlated to how much you actually give a shit about yourself. So when I didn't have consistency and discipline, it was when I had low self-worth. And there's a pretty direct correlation between those two things. So, you know, having more consistency and caring about yourself, not from an arrogant place, not from a place of ego, but because you're like, you know what, like, I deserve it just as much as the next person, you know. And there's some dumb idiot that does things at 50% of the capacity, but, you know, 200 times the confidence than I have, that, like, I deserve to take up space, and I care about myself enough to do that. So, you know, if I had myself to say, if I didn't even have somebody at 27 that gave a shit enough about me, or had enough brain cells to put together to have those, you know, put those, everything that I put in these couple minutes to you. Like, I wish I had that speech at 27 when I was in the exact same place. But, you know, was I able to hear it at 27? Maybe. I don't know. Are you, you know, it's just some things you just have to learn through experience, and I can't outsmart you of any lessons that you're supposed to learn, but I can just give you my perspective. So I hope some of that was helpful. A place of self-value. Exactly. I understand you, they taking our jobs. Sure. Sure. There we go. But yeah, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of the most important things for us are boring. So I know they really have, but it's like, I just expect it. Like, a lot of the 9th house perfection year is like, you know, I am painfully aware of the people that are just incapable of hearing me. You know, 5 minutes ago was example A. Like, it's just like, you just want to talk at me, you don't want to talk with me, and I don't care. Like, you know, find somebody else. Like, I've given a lot of people a lot of my time and energy. It's like, you're not even looking to understand or even meet me halfway. Like, I'm good, you know. I'm not, again, full circle. Like, I'm not going to yes you to death about what you want to hear. You know, moving on to the next thing. There's, you know, multiple people here. Like, we need to learn how to, on social media, it's social. People are going to engage with each other. So it's like, not, you know, pissing in somebody else's Cheerios and expecting them to eat it because to you, your piss tastes good. I don't want to drink your piss. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's good. Let's have boundaries in that way. But I'm going to go rest my voice. I have some emails to get back to for a couple of you, for the 4 of you that booked with me today. Thank you for booking with me. Thank you for your questions. I'm going to say goodbye to TikTok first. I will see you guys this time next week. I may or may not be on this late. But I will see you at least at 1 p.m. Next Saturday. And I will see you guys later. Thank you, Orion, you too. Thank you for the gifts as well and the great conversation. I'll see you guys. And then my beautiful YouTube crew, because I know there's a little bit of a delay, I will see you guys back on Tuesday. So, yeah, of course. Yeah, Aquarius rising, Scorpio rising. Exactly. Exactly. And I think just like being willing to do the hard thing, but not everybody has that capability. Not everybody has that capability, but I know that you do. So I'm tough love because I've done it and I've been through that experience as well. So my love to you guys. I will see you. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Tupac. Thank you, Mr. M. Thank you, Karan, who also is here. Kendall.